deadline day. Preds have already made one move. We'll see if other moves are coming today from David Poile and the Predators, including maybe the future of number 9 here in Nashville. A lot to get to today here on the program. As always, taking your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. We begin, however, on the Tennessee Vols. Out of the NCAA tournament. They fall to Michigan on Saturday. Joe Rexrode was there live and in person, and Joe Rexrode is here today live and in person as well. Rexrode, what's going on? How are we doing?
Good. Just trying to get this, this stuff figured out here. What's happened here to this? Oh, never mind. We can talk during the break about who did what to this freaking mic. Like it was like
it actually was me.
It was like a pterodactyl. What?
Pterodactyl.
When we did the show on Saturday, I couldn't figure out that microphone, and it wouldn't get to the right height for my head, so I used the two.
So you were standing and like talking into it over there?
No, I used that, but the 2 microphone, the one to your left.
Okay.
All right.
So yes,
that
actually it was
sense.
me.
All right. Okay. Well, at least we have someone admitting to trashing the studio, because usually it's like an unnamed culprit, you know.
Several different culprits.
Yeah. So thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Michelle, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Joe, I was telling Robby last night I saw the new Batman movie. I'm not into that. This is the first ever Superman movie I've seen. Spider-Man, any of that. I'd give it like a solid 7 out of 10. But wow, it was 3+ hours long. And I told Robby, I'm like, my attention span. I was like, I need to get out of here ASAP.
It was long. It was, oh my God. Yes, it was long. It was too long.
Yes.
So many movies are too long now.
Yeah.
2.5 hours would have been perfect. Even you could have made it 2:20.
Start getting to 3, you're in deep territory.
Yeah, like
you got to be real good if you're
You better
in 3.
be the Godfather. You know,
Exactly.
if you're going to go that long. But, yeah. Pretty good, though, right?
Hey, I have to see it, so maybe I'll accomplish that this week at some point. When I
Are you
have
still
3 hours.
shaving? Are you still continuing to shave the beard?
It's just from last week.
All right, okay.
I think this is the first time you've probably seen it, though, in person. Maybe.
No, one time.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I think just via Zoom.
I think it's been via Zoom.
We were all there in a meeting last week. We had one show together last week, and then we were in a meeting right in there.
Correct.
That's true. He did come in here the last part of that show. That's
Joe, we can't keep track of you. Robby and I were like,
keep track of
so
himself.
what state is Joe in? And then Robby looks out the window. Oh, he's actually here. We're like, oh.
Well,
pleasant.
speaking of that, I had a flight to San Antonio booked for tomorrow.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. That's been canceled.
That has been canceled. It's so I told you this before the show. It's unbelievable and yet so believable that Tennessee finds themselves in this position again. They just couldn't shoot in that game. I mean, they had wide open shot after wide open shot and could not hit them, and here they are going home in the round of 32 against Michigan. It's pretty amazing.
I mean, I think back on that game, and you do really have to credit Michigan. Michigan is good. Michigan's better than an 11. Michigan's talented, and they kind of remind me of North Carolina, a team that, well, like North Carolina, there's a team that Tennessee blasted early in the year. Would they do it now? No. They're a very talented team that has figured a lot of things out. Michigan's the same way, but you're up 60-54. And I really feel like one of those shots goes down, and you probably are okay, and you probably get through it. And none of those shots went down. And then Eli Brooks, what the heck? Why am I forgetting his name? The guy's been at Michigan forever. Yeah. Makes the running hook shot from like the side with Josiah James playing defense as well as you play it. That puts him up 4. I mean, that was the game to me, was that shot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you do about that if you're Tennessee, but that was just kind of a sky hook, throw it up in the air shot, and it goes in, and they fall 76-68. So here we are. We're talking about this Tennessee team where lots of people have them in the Final Four. They played so well. They shot so well in the first game against Longwood, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, this is a real opportunity with the guard play that they've gotten, maybe to go on a deep run here. And we knew that the matchup would be different against Michigan, and Hunter Dickinson would be a lot to handle, and he was. He had 27 points in this game, 8 of 13 from the field, 8 of 10 from the free throw line, and 3 of 5 from the three-point line as well, which when he was making threes, and I saw you tweet this, so like, what do you do if you're Tennessee about Hunter Dickinson when he's making threes? But 27 from him. Eli Brooks had 23 on the night, and then you go down to Tennessee and you start to look around. They shot 2 of 18 from 3, and when you shoot 2 of 18 from 3, you're going to put yourself in a really tough spot if you're this team. And we've talked about it. Shooting lulls happen. They've happened with this team throughout the year. Could they avoid that long enough to make a deep tournament run? And the answer was no. They could not. And the shooting lulls and the offensive stagnation got them once again, and ultimately that's why they're out of the tournament here today.
Yeah, I mean, you could look at that last stretch and say I guess it's kind of like some of their stretches this year. It just obviously feels different because it's the end of the most important game of the year, and they had been playing so well. Michigan took it to them early, and then they had the big run with Plavsic, a key player in that run, and then all of a sudden Kennedy Chandler just dominated the game. And look, credit to Michigan. I think Michigan made some changes. You going to the zone defense and everything that got Chandler out of the lane. And honestly, I mean, look, you come away from this. I mean, I came away from that the other day, and I'm like, so what do I write about here? I mean, how do you write about anything but Rick Barnes? So that's what I think a lot of the talk's going to be today, and that's fine. The bottom line is Rick Barnes, over time, the record speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a losing record in the NCAA tournament over this period of time with the teams you've had. That has to mean something. This game, I don't know what Rick Barnes did. Did Rick Barnes choke in this game? Did Rick Barnes make a coaching decision that was disastrous, or did he make his players too tight? Did he say something late in the game where they missed all those shots? I mean, I don't think there's anything that Rick Barnes did to lose this game. Sometimes you can see, oh man, terrible play call or terrible substitution or whatever. But it just keeps happening. And I think at this point, what the problem at this point is that everybody knows that this is a big thing, and his players know it's a big thing, and they want to win for him, and that just increases the pressure on his players. I mean, I think it really is kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy right now for Rick Barnes of the Vols.
Well, and to your point, I mean, that's I'm sitting at Bridgestone Arena Saturday night at the Preds game, and in the immediate aftermath, I'm just kind of scrolling through Twitter as the game ends, and it was becoming pretty clear that Tennessee was going to lose, and that's all it was just Rick Barnes this, Rick Barnes that on Twitter. And I did look. We've talked about it here on the show. We've criticized Rick Barnes and his record in March. I mean, it is what it is at this point until you find a way to change it. But I was sitting there watching that game take place, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I get it. And I understand why people are saying this, and I think there's validity to Rick Barnes in March. For this game, I don't really know what he's supposed to do. They had shots, they didn't hit them.
Yeah.
And again, I get it. That goes to, I mean, at some point you've got to find a way to get it done come tournament time. So I understand you're a 3 seed taking on an 11 seed. I get Michigan talent-wise is not an 11 seed, but they hadn't put it together all year now. Don't let them start to do it at this time against you. I mean, but again, they had wide open shot after wide open shot, and they just couldn't hit anything.
Yeah, and I've heard, a little back and forth with some Vols fans. I understand. Look, it's totally natural to say, okay, what about this or that with coaching decisions? Should Tennessee have gone big? You could say that, but when they were small, Michigan had such a problem with them. That's the thing. They got away with not having to go big against Diabate, the freshman, because Josiah James could deal with him, and it was better for Tennessee. I heard why do you keep taking outside shots? Okay, I get that, but the bottom line is Michigan was like, okay, we're not going to let you in the lane anymore. We're not letting Chandler in the lane anymore. Now, Plavsic could have gone to the rim a couple times.
Yeah.
And he kicked out, but he kicked out to wide open shooters.
He did.
You have to make these shots. You have to make these shots, these wide open shots. I mean, Ziegler had a couple great looks. Vescovy had a good look. James had a good look. Got to hit them. You hit one of those. And they didn't. So, yes. And I knew that exactly the first thing that everyone's going to say is, Rick, look at his right. Hey, it's totally fair. The guy's been past the first weekend one time since 2008. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's bad.
Yeah.
It's atrocious relative to the teams he's had. It really is. But in this particular game, Tell me where he choked. You know, I mean, there was about a minute and a half where he had Fulkerson on Dickinson in the second half, and I was like, you have to change that, and that's one of the threes that Dickinson hit, and then they put Plavsic back in. Then they kind of were switching back and forth because Fulkerson was better for them offensively, and Plavsic better defensively. But I see no huge coaching errors here. I do see, like, I just, especially go back to the SEC tournament, there's so much focus, I think, for those players on winning this for Rick, and because they know exactly how the reaction is and what people say. I think that can be counterproductive. But what do you do about it? I don't know.
Would you like to take this opportunity? Michigan had 20 free throw attempts and Tennessee had 12. Would you like to take this opportunity to get after the officiating on behalf of All Nation?
No. There was yesterday. It was Chris Beard. Was it Chris Beard? He called out a 42-12 disparity. Yeah. Purdue, Texas. That's pretty big. But no. Thank you for bringing that up, though. I actually didn't hear much of that. I didn't hear much of that.
I didn't hear any of it, but I just wanted to give you a chance.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
We'll take your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. What do you make of Tennessee bounced early from the tournament? Again, we'll get your reaction coming up next. Let me tell you about my friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. You can start your bracket with a bang, and right now FanDuel Sportsbook is giving new customers a $150 instant bonus guaranteed. That's right, you'll get $150 in bonus site credit, and all you have to do is place your first bet of $5 or more. How you bet the bracket is up to you. You can choose from the money line, totals, prop bets, and so much more. Gonzaga was my pick to win it all. They're still alive in the tournament, but you can take it any way you want to take it. Plus, with cash out, the ball's in your court, so you can close out your bet whenever you want before the game is over. Join FanDuel today with promo code ROB. Then you can place your $5 bet to score $150 in bonus site credit guaranteed. Once again, that promo code is ROB, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Here they come. Turn 4. Final lap.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe. Join me for Chasing Checkers every Sunday morning at 8, and you can hear some of the big names in racing, like Denny Hamlin.
I always like to undersell and overdeliver.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
It would be amazing to watch a Cup race compete there again.
Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, I think we learned a lot.
And several others. It's Chasing Checkers every Sunday at 8 on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The 2022 Major League Soccer season is officially here, and the Nashville SC Stadium nearly complete. Don't miss Nashville SC's home opener May 1st. Grab a seat at NashvilleSC.com/22ticks.
Cheers to you, girl. I know you're excited about the new job.
Oh, thanks so much.
Hey, is that my engagement ring you're wearing?
Don't be silly. Oh, wow. They are identical. How did that happen?
Don't tell me. He went to jail.
Yeah, yours too, I guess.
Wow.
Don't make her settle for one of those cookie cutter rings from the big corporate chain jewelry stores. At Genesis Diamonds, you can get her a stunning one-of-a-kind designer ring, one that's as unique as she is. Genesis has over 4,000 handcrafted rings from world-class designers like Tacori, Verragio, Henry Dossi, and others. These are designers that you'll never see in one of those mega corporate stores, but we have them starting at under $1,000. So ladies, don't settle for the ordinary, for a ring that will be yours and yours alone. Make sure he goes to
Genesis Diamonds.
Continuously voted best jewelry store and best place to buy an engagement ring. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
Our fleet vehicle program is a great benefit to all the fleet companies in Nashville. We are able to get their vehicle back on the road a lot quicker than the downtime of most dealers and most general repair shops, simply because we have the transmissions available. We're able to put priority on their vehicles to get them back on the road quickly.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
It's Tango Day, everybody. Follow after me and step and back and slide and dip. That's tango.
Why is Ice-T leading our tango class?
It's probably the heart-shaped Honey Nut Cheerios. He found out they can help lower cholesterol. Now he's having fun taking care of his heart in all sorts of new ways.
Let's see those hips move, people.
Hurry and get your heart-shaped Cheerios. They're only here for a limited time.
Interact with Robby and Rexrode. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Under a minute to go. Michigan up by 2. Shot clock at 7. Head and shoulder fake. Brooks tosses it up. Oh! Old school! Eli Brooks!
You are right about old school. Watch this. He knows he just has to get it up somehow.
Just show up to the YMCA and toss that up.
Yeah, Rick, I know every team and every season is different, but is it frustrating to win the tournament, be in a good position, and not be able to get past this first weekend again?
It's very frustrating but I will tell you this, and I'm really frustrated. I've been blessed to be here a bunch, and some teams got here that probably people didn't think would get here. Some teams that we expected to get here, and it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. But I can tell you from experience, whether you lose on the first day, the second day like we did today, or you lose in the semifinals, it's the same feeling.
That was Tennessee coach Rick Barnes after a loss for Tennessee, 76-68, the final on Saturday against Michigan. Jawan Howard and company get it done against the Vols. They advance to the Sweet 16. Is that their fourth consecutive Sweet 16? I think I read somewhere.
I think that's right.
Yeah. So 4 consecutive Sweet 16 appearances for Michigan. They win 76-68. Taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. So, Joe, this is going to lead to, yet again, a Rick Barnes discussion for the next few weeks here among Tennessee fans. And I saw it on Twitter on Saturday as well. Some have said, you know what? This is just what this guy is. This is all he can do. He's a really good regular season coach. But once the NCAA tournament comes around, he just can't get it done. And Tennessee should strive to be better than that. I saw a few of those tweets on Saturday, including from our program director, Chase McCabe, on Saturday night as well. There are some that say, have y'all seen what Tennessee basketball is mostly throughout the course of their history? Save for Bruce Pearl and Rick Barnes the last 35 years. It's not great. Not a whole lot there. I understand both sides of the argument. I think I would describe myself as more as the have you seen what Tennessee basketball is without Rick Barnes than I do on the other side of this? But I understand those who maybe have a different viewpoint on that. Where do you come down on this discussion, and how loud do you think the noise is right now for Rick Barnes among Tennessee fans? Because honestly, in terms of them actually moving on from him, I don't really think there's any chance that happens.
No, I don't think there's any chance of that. And I mean, I'm going to take him at his word the other day that he's, he's not thinking about retiring or anything like that. I will say on that front, Michael Schwartz has been a very important part of the success of Tennessee basketball. He's been there the whole time. Again, he goes back to being a walk-on for Rick Barnes at Texas, and now he's got the East Carolina job. Good for him. He deserves it. He's going to be really good. So that's a full turnover of Rick Barnes' coaching staff from what I thought was just a fantastic staff in 2018-19. You got head coaches at Georgia State, ETSU, and ECU now from that staff, which is a credit to all those guys. Also, I mean, that can be tough for a coach when you have to constantly keep turning over. But now, especially losing Schwartz, who's just been there so long with him, that's a big deal. But that's an aside. As far as the whole thing with Rick Barnes, the discussion, look, I probably go more on what you said too. You got to keep in perspective what he's done at Tennessee. I feel like there was a lot more anger last year because that was a kind of a bad team. It was a good bad team. It was on a run to the Elite Eight, but still at the time it's like, how did you get smoked by that team? That's what you come with. So I feel like last year there was more like, this has got to change. Whereas this year, I think it's more, oh my God, they blew such an opportunity. Because look, they're far from the only one. There's a whole bunch of teams every year. There's a bunch of teams who are now sitting there at the end of the first weekend, sitting at home that could have won it.
Kentucky.
Yeah, well, Kentucky's out. Who else? I mean,
Baylor.
Baylor could have won the thing. Auburn was kind of a mess at the end there. But yeah, look at Auburn and the year they had. Every year this happens. The problem is when it consistently happens to you, everybody over time, like, you're going to have some just shocking losses where you're like, that team was special. Kennedy Chandler could have been like one of the stories of this tournament. He's that good. And he's just starting to figure it out. And it's like, dude, this guy is lethal.
Yep.
And you saw his emotion after the game. I think he knew what they just squandered, So I feel like it's more like just the pain of this special team losing. I've heard a lot of people say this is the best Tennessee team I've ever had in my lifetime. And that's saying a lot compared to 3 years ago. But I think you can make the case. It's right there. So I think maybe then it goes back into Rick Barnes. But I think there's a lot more like, man, what a great team. He put together a great team. And we're back to the Rick Barnes discussion. Last year it was like, where's this going? Because remember last year they had to go get bigs. That they didn't have any bigs. They went and got Huntley, Hatfield, and Adu. Ziegler. No one had any clue who that guy was. He's supposed to be a St. Peter's guard right now. He'd be deeper in the tournament, by the way, if he was a St. Peter's guard than a Tennessee guard. How about that?
That is true.
So you didn't even know what this team was going to be next year. They could be really good still. But is anybody excited about that right now? No, they're talking about Rick Barnes. And I get it. I don't know what the answer is, other than keep trying, keep going at it. But there's some disconnect, and I would imagine I've never been able to figure out like a good answer on, is there a common thread with Rick Barnes and all these teams that have underperformed? Does he yell too much at his players? Does he not yell enough at his players? Basically, if you talk to people who have been around, it's like they just had a lot of bad luck. But that just over that period of time, you gotta figure it out. The guy, again, one time past the first weekend since 2008. That's tough.
No, it's real tough, and especially when you see them play so well heading into that game, right? They played so well throughout the SEC tourney. I realize it's Longwood in the first game, but they just shot so well. Then you go back and you look at the way they shot on Saturday. We had talked about Josiah James and the way that he shot the ball. He's 0 for 6 from 3 on Saturday. Vescovy made 1 3 on Saturday. Like, you can't win that way when Vescovy's making 1 3 for you, 2 of 7 from the field. Kennedy Chandler had 1 3. Like, they didn't have a guy, obviously, when they made 2 threes the whole game. They didn't have a guy make more than 1 3 in the game. When that's happening, it's just going to be tough to win. And I know Tennessee's defense has been good all year. I thought Michigan exposed them at times there and played really well on the offensive side of the ball. But, the fact of the matter is, we talked about this. Like, would Tennessee's shooting lull, would that come back to bite them at some point? And it did. Like, people are searching for, an answer deeper than that, and I just don't really think it's there. Like, I think that's the answer. They had shooting lulls throughout the season. It bit them a few times. They had overcome that as of late, and they couldn't overcome it this time.
I agree. I guess.
But I know what you're talking about with the larger discussion of Rick Barnes. Yes.
Like when Zieg was in the corner a couple times in a row. This freshman who again had an offer from St. Peter's.
Yeah.
Is he thinking about Rick Barnes when he misses that shot? Probably not. But they seem to really get tight late.
Yep.
The Vescovy shooting, I think Michigan prioritized him, and teams, they were banging him all over the floor. So, that wasn't surprising to me. James had 3, I think, that were like halfway down.
Yep.
And popped out. And he hit other shots. He played well. He still had a good game. Early in the game, he kept him in it because you're right. Michigan was shredding Tennessee early. They're very tough to guard. But down the stretch, if you look at the shots those teams had, even Dickinson, he had to hit like a fade away that was really tough. Like they started to really do a good job of mucking it up around him, not letting him go in there and either score or set someone up for a layup. And basically it was like Eli Brooks off the ball screen, can you hit this mid-range jumper? And he did. And then he got hot and he hits that hook. But, I mean, Tennessee's shots down the stretch with the lead and then down to the end were better than Michigan's shots. And as a coach, that's how you judge things. It's who got better shots. Yep. That's how you have to, because you can't put the ball in for your players. So I think you're right. It is as simple as they missed really good shots. I would not complain at all about any of the shots they got. I mean, you can always say, hey, well, go to the rim. Well, okay, but they're not helping off those people over there. They're in here, not letting us go there, but now they're leaving us wide open out here. You have to do that. You make the right basketball play. Didn't hit the shots. How much does that have to do with all of this stuff, the pressure? I just think there's extra pressure that these guys put on themselves because they love Rick Barnes so much. I mean, that hit me the other night, that game, and then going back to Tampa when the whole celebration was like, it was all about like, Rick, we did this for you, Rick. And it's like, man, it's just a lot. I mean, he's not asking him to do that, but that's human nature when you know that the entire college basketball, I looked at Twitter too, it was like Stuart Mandel for our college football guy, like, here's Rick Barnes' record in March. Like, everyone immediately tweets it. It's always comes up.
So do you feel any differently about the SEC now? Tennessee's out, Kentucky's out, Auburn's out, Alabama's out, Arkansas is the one team left that's standing. You feel any differently about the SEC now based on the way the tournament has gone through the first weekend?
I think that stuff gets super overrated because it's still individual team matchups. But it's part of the deal. You know, if your league performs the SEC tournament, then you were great. You were underrated. You were overrated. If you don't, it's pretty disappointing, man. It's pretty disappointing. You know, like I said, I thought Auburn was a mess. Kentucky, I watched St. Peter's win 2 games, and I'm still like,
Go
swear,
Peacocks.
I'm beating these dudes. I'm getting 5 people and beating these dudes at the Y. I swear. I don't know, but they're incredible. I don't know.
Yeah.
Doug, you can't not love that hair and mustache combo.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. Yes. Fantastic mustache for Doug. But, yeah, it's pretty disappointing. Auburn, you know, and at least on the Tennessee fan front, by the way, don't have to hear this week about the Bruce Pearl stuff, you know. Like,
that
at
is
least
true.
that can die and just – but that's a huge disappointment. They're loaded. It's a big disappointment. Does it mean the SEC stunk this year? No, I think it was good. I mean, I saw Kentucky go into Kansas and destroy them on the road. You know, that game really happened. But the Big Ten and SEC both, very disappointing this tournament.
Yep, no question about it. We'll continue to take your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. A big move made over the weekend for the Tennessee Titans. We'll get into that coming up next. Let me tell you about my friends at the Nashville Predators. Season tickets for the Preds 2022-23 season are on sale now. Full, half, and quarter season plans are available. You can join the Loyal Legion today and receive the best seat locations, priority access to 2022 Stanley Cup playoff tickets as well. Another big win for the Predators over the weekend. They're looking pretty good to make the playoffs right now. And as a season ticket citizen, your tickets for round 1 of the 2022 Stanley Cup playoffs will be up to 20% lower than your regular season price. Tickets for round 2 of the Cup playoffs will be the same as your regular season price. So you're going to want to take advantage of that. Season ticket citizens receive season-long benefits, including concession discounts, Nashville locker room discounts, pre-sales to shows at Bridgestone Arena, and savings on Preds Foundation events as well. You can learn more at NashvillePredators.com/season tickets. Once again, that's NashvillePredators.com/season tickets.
Hey, I'm Matthias Ekholm, and this is Smashville.
Ekholm, his shot, he scores! Matthias Ekholm gets the Predators' third of the night.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 1025, The Game.
Staples is evolving to Staples Connect, a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Winter's a bad time for your furnace to go out, but it's never a bad time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Did you know that about 80% of new home buyers don't ever shop around for the best mortgage loan? That's a huge mistake. Hey, Willie Donick here. Listen, Not all mortgages are created equal, and I'm here to prove it with Loan Pronto. People who use Loan Pronto save on average $3,500 just in closing costs. On top of that, they get a better rate, which saves them thousands more every year. Your banker or agents go to lender. They're fine people, but don't assume they're giving you the best deal. Call Loan Pronto for a quick second opinion or go to loanpronto.com. I'll bet they can get you a better loan, a lower rate, without all those annoying closing costs. What have you got to lose? You compare costs on everything else in your life. Why not do the same with your mortgage? Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Hey, it's Elijah Campbell from Darren, Donick, and Chase, and I got my radio start right here as an intern at ESPN 1025 The Game. It was an excellent experience, and we're now looking for new interns. If you think that's you, go ahead and send your resume over to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply.
It's Tango Day, everybody. Follow after me and step and back and slide and dip. That's tango.
Why is Iced Tea leading our tango class?
It's probably the heart-shaped Honey Nut Cheerios. He found out they can help lower cholesterol. Now he's having fun taking care of his heart in all sorts of new ways.
Let's see those hips move, people.
Hurry and get your heart-shaped Cheerios. They're only here for a limited time.
Tuesday night.
Right, 2 for 2 with his 3 ball.
It's an Eastern Conference battle in the NBA.
Quick time drop to Mitchell Robinson.
As the Hawks take on the Knicks. Coverage begins at 6
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is new Vanderbilt head coach Jerry Stackhouse. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
Play action from Goff. Goff, deep ball. Robert Woods, he's got it! Robert Woods, he is gone! Touchdown Rams, 94 yards.
Big move for the Titans over the weekend. Robert Woods, your newest member of the Tennessee Titans. The Titans trade a 2023 sixth-round pick to the Los Angeles Rams, and Robert Woods comes back the other way, adding to that receiving core for the Tennessee Titans. We wondered, with Julio Jones gone, what would the receiving core look like? Would they address it in the draft, which I think they probably still should at some point in the draft? Would they get a veteran receiver out there via free agency? They did not via free agency, but they did via trade. Robert Woods coming back to the Tennessee Titans. So now the 1-2 combo of A.J. Brown and Robert Woods, all of a sudden that receiving core is looking a little bit better than it did last Friday when we got off the air. Joe Rexrode, what do you think of this move for the Titans? What do you think of Robert Woods coming to this offense here with A.J. Brown, Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry and company?
Well, things look a lot different today than they did a few days ago. Austin Hooper, Ryan Woods, so they're here they are. They are trying to make things better around Ryan Tannehill, and they have. I mean, Hooper is interesting. I think he could be really good. I think there's obviously a lot of question. He didn't have a good year last year. A lot of Cleveland Browns didn't, but Robert Woods was having a great year before the ACL. So of course he's another injured player.
Check that box.
That is being acquired by John Robinson. But again, part of that is that you can get value. You can get some good value, and they needed to get some good value. I mean, 6th-round pick in 23 for Robert Woods.
It's not bad.
That's not bad at all. Obviously, there are questions about. So he got hurt in November. I'm trying to think, did he get hurt right after the Titans game?
I believe so.
Yeah, the next week.
Yeah. And of course OBJ comes in.
Right, and that's great. But he's good. I mean, he's 29 years old. He's played his. I mean, essentially, he would have had a third out of 4 years with 1,000 yards probably, and he was so close to 1,020. So almost 4 straight years of 1,000 yards after kind of being, sort of like a just possession guy in Buffalo. one thing that stands out, and somebody tweeted this out, and I forget who again, but good job, person who I forgot. Tweeted out the full Vrabel quote before they played the Rams.
I think it's TD.
Was it
Luke
TD?
Worsher, too.
Good job, TD. And Luke. All right, there you go. TD and
Combo.
Luke. Great job. But, yeah, I mean, now Vrabel, the one thing that Vrabel will say during a game week is, like, he will absolutely – he'll praise the other team's players.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all day long. But he had a pretty long quote about Robert Woods as a blocker. Loves Robert Woods as a blocker.
Come on.
But, hey, it matters in this offense. Blocking matters. Blocking matters at all positions.
Imagine with
football
Robert
is
Woods,
blocking and tackling.
Robert Woods and Nick Westbrook-Ikhine out there. Derrick Henry's going to run for 2,500 yards.
I mean, is anybody going to tackle him? I don't know. How many safeties do you have? You better have about 5 safeties out there.
Who needs Roger Saffold? You got those 2 out there blocking.
That's a good point. You just put Robert Woods in motion, and basically he's your left guard. You know.
Yeah.
But seriously, I mean, it's exactly like it's totally his kind of player, which is really interesting too when you think about this in terms of now here's another former Rams receiver that they acquired. The last one apparently like there was no fit whatsoever, with Josh Reynolds, and it just did not go well. Again, his injury is part of why it didn't go well, but it wasn't a fit. And Robert Woods is exactly. I mean, obviously Vrabel also praised Cooper Kupp, by the way, and essentially if you go by the analytics. There was some ranking, and again, I forgot what it was because I was covering hoops this weekend, and I'm seeing things very fast, and then I'm focused on, the Vols missed another shot. Some ratings had Kupp and Woods as like the top 2 blocking receivers in the league.
Yeah.
Did you see that? What was that?
I don't remember exactly where that came from, but I did see it.
It's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, but seriously, he fits. He fits what they want to do. Yes, he's hurt, so what does that mean about next season? Is it going to be a while before so Lawan was ready to, I mean, I think Robert Woods will probably be ready to play at the beginning of the season, but is he gonna take a little time, to come back? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, you feel better about smaller guys getting through that stuff than you do, the big fellas.
Yeah, for sure. And as you said, before he got hurt last year, 45 catches, 556 yards in 9 games, 4 touchdowns. He's a good player. He's 29 years old right now, so obviously a little bit younger than Julio Jones. If he's healthy and ready to go, I mean, you feel pretty good about this 1-2 punch with A.J. Brown and Robert Woods. I guess the question now is, with Robert Woods in the fold, this time last week we were talking about it's probably going to be a wide receiver with your first-round pick. It still could be, and you could still, kind of approach it that way, and maybe it's a slot guy. I don't know. I mean, you could do a lot of different things with your first-round pick. I do think this now, with this hole being filled, leaves the door open a little bit to maybe go somewhere else with your first-round pick if you want to. Maybe go with just what your board says, Joe Rexrode.
Yeah. No, you could. I still – to me, if you now run into a Jameson Williams or a Chris Olave or something like that,
yep.
I think it'd still be really hard to pass up on that. But you're less you're less desperate to get a receiver. I still think you need to get one, but it's not like who's your number 2 receiver that you're drafting tonight. I mean, Robert Woods is a really nice number 2 receiver. Robert Woods. Right now, his profile, what we know of him, is he as exciting as what we thought Julio Jones was supposed to be, when they acquired him? No. But do I like Robert Woods' chances next year of having a better year than Julio Jones had this last year? I do.
Yeah. Just hoping
he
stays healthy. Yeah.
And another thing about Robert Woods is you talk about someone that people rave about in terms of like his personality and stuff. I mean, rave about the guy. So, and look, that's a good thing. You want more of that on your team.
He wore number 2 last year for the Rams. You think he's coming in and stealing Julio's number right off the bat? Just say, move aside, Julio Jones, I'll take number 2.
It hasn't been retired?
I don't think so, not yet. Could be in the plans.
That's the thing. It hasn't been officially retired yet, but maybe like the committee may be ruling on whether to
We know he's not going to be
regulation.
17. That's what he was with the Rams for like 5 years, and then he changed it to 2 last year.
There's some people that'd be okay with him being 17.
I think there probably are.
There's your new 17, folks. And the current 17, find another spot.
That's right. We'll continue to take your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Big moves for the Tennessee Titans. They get their wide receiver number 2 in Robert Woods. They get their tight end as well. We'll get into the Austin Hooper move by John Robinson, the Titans. What do we feel about that move? How much could that help at the tight end position? That's coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Temperatures seasonal this morning in the 40s. We are on our way to highs in the 70s this afternoon under increasing clouds ahead of our next storm chance on Tuesday.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, it's me, Chase McCabe, and listen, you know that I love BetMGM. I use it all the time, and I talk about it all the time. They are the king of sportsbooks, and they unleash the spirit of Las Vegas with BetMGM rewards. Every time you make a wager at BetMGM, you can earn BetMGM rewards points that you can redeem for online bonus credits like free bets and risk-free tokens. If you're planning a trip to Vegas, like I am, you can also convert your BetMGM points into MGM rewards points that you can use towards dining, shows, and hotel rooms at over 20 MGM Resorts properties located on the Las Vegas Strip and nationwide. BetMGM Rewards is sports betting's premier loyalty program featuring exclusive offers, incredible experiences, and valuable perks when you wager on the BetMGM app. Sign up with BetMGM or log on today and get an even bigger piece of the action with BetMGM Rewards. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Tennessee only. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Hey, it's Deion Sanders. They call me Coach Prime now. You already know Walmart is your one-stop shop for all those game day essentials. Now, Walmart and Gillette Labs are teaming up to take your game day to the next level. You got to swing by the shave aisle to snag the new Gillette Labs razor and get that W, man.
The new Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar for a shave as quick and easy as washing your face.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. So you need to change your oil. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Daily Protection or Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP oil filter, plus an STP air filter or cabin air filter for just $36.99. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick! Sorry, kids! Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One and a member FDIC.
Sometimes their glass is half full.
That was unbelievable. It was the best NFL draft they've ever had.
Sometimes glass half empty.
What are we getting ourselves into here? Tough game.
And sometimes it's all about the numbers.
One win, and they've gone on this streak, and now they're at 500.
Hang out with Darren, Donick, and Chase from 10 to 2 during your workday. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
You're listening to Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
3rd down and 3. Ryan, pressure, in trouble, lets it fly deep, wide open is Austin Hooper. Now it's a foot race. Stiff arm against Dents. Hooper is gonna go. Touchdown. 88 yards.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Little Guys Movers. Here's your chance to be your own boss. Join their team of 30-plus years of profits and good times. Visit littleguysfranchise.com. It's a disaster in here.
If you need to talk to me, Michelle, just text me, okay?
It's an absolute travesty in here with the headphone situation. By the way, we're streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Talking Titans, we've discussed the big move to get Robert Woods in here. Titans acquire Robert Woods from the L.A. Rams in exchange for a 2023 sixth-round pick. So Robert Woods coming in, and it was interesting, like based on the reporting that's been done since then of obviously that Robert Woods meant a great deal to the Rams, and they wanted to do right by him, I think is the way that they put it. So they found in their minds what was the right destination. That's here with Tennessee, and that's a pretty cheap price to get Robert Woods in if you're John Robinson. I think well worth a sixth-round pick in 2023. Titans also found their tight end over the weekend. Austin Hooper signed by the Tennessee Titans, a one-year deal. Austin Hooper, of course, I watched him play in Atlanta, and I was like, man, this guy's pretty good. And he went to Cleveland, and I thought, wow, you've got Austin Hooper, you've got David Njoku. It's a pretty nice 1-2 punch at tight end for the Browns. It did not work out as well in Cleveland as I thought it would with Austin Hooper, but a one-year, $6 million deal for Austin Hooper here with the Titans. What do you think about that move at tight end and Hooper at age 27 coming in here with Tennessee?
Well, I feel like the Woods acquisition is someone who I think there's a fair amount of certainty with what you're going to get with him. He's not going to be a superstar. He's going to be a good number 2 receiver. Again, you don't know how an ACL is gonna rehab and all that stuff, but for the most part, these days, those things are successful, and so I think you feel like Robert Woods is going to be a really nice addition. Hooper, I think, is actually a more important person, you could argue, next year for this team, and a little bit less certainty with him. Like you said, he had those 2 really good years. His 3rd and 4th years in Atlanta, 71 catches for 660, 4 touchdowns, and then 75 catches for 787 and 6 touchdowns in 2019. Kind of a rising star, young player, 3rd and 4th years in the league. Cleveland, the production went down. He also missed some time in 20. The last couple of years, he's had a total of 84 catches for 700. So basically, the last 2 years combined are what he did in 19 in Atlanta.
Yep.
And a total of 7 touchdowns in those years. So. But how much does that have to do with – last year with the Browns is also hard, too, because of Baker's situation and all the stuff that went on there. They just had a brutal year, and Njoku's just a super talent, who also at times kind of been underwhelming. I think you're talking about a young, clearly talented guy who's produced in this league, and it's one of those things where – so you think back to, I hate to make any comparison to like Vic Beasley, but like Vic Beasley is the classic example of here's someone who has produced in this league, still young, still should be good. What's the word on the street on Vic Beasley? And the word on the street when they got him was, people still don't make enough.
Don't really know if he want to play football.
Right. everybody like that still is like the way under discussed bad move of the last few years versus to me Clowney, which everybody knew the risk and everything, but that there was reward. With Vic Beasley, there was a lot of I don't know, man. I don't know if you want to go there, and it was obviously a bad idea. So, what's the deal with Hooper? I'm not, and I just bring that up to say the answer is so much about where he is in terms of how how motivated he is to come in here and grab this opportunity. He is this team's flat out number 1 tight end, and should be a really important, productive player if he wants to be that. So if you feel good about that, if you're the Titans, and where he is in that way, then I think this could be a really nice pickup. They need more still, but this is a really good start, and they just badly needed someone who is a number 1 tight end in this league, quality player to be that number 1 tight end, and he is that.
He is, and we'll see if the production can translate on the field. As you pointed out, 38 catches last year for Hooper, 345 yards, 3 touchdowns. Those are not numbers that are going to blow you away. I think obviously the expectation would be higher than that if you're the Titans heading into what would be, a season where you do have Robert Woods now. You've got A.J. Brown. You've got Derrick Henry. There's a lot of weapons on this Titans offense. can Hooper be a guy that you can go to over the middle of the field? I mean, we've talked about that so much. They just didn't really have that guy last year. Ferkser came on a little bit towards the end of the year, but the tight end position is so important. And Austin Hooper at age 27, if it works out, maybe he's your tight end for the next few years as well. So, I think it's worth the risk. I mean, $6 million, that's the price range where I thought they could probably fit in there to find a tight end. I mean, obviously guys like Zach Ertz, you're going to price yourself out of that. But Hooper, he's been a productive player in this league. We'll see if he can get back to that. I guess if you're a Titans fan, how much differently do you feel about the offense today, knowing that there's still, obviously something to figure out on the offensive line? I still think they're going to draft a wide receiver at some point in the draft, be that in the first round or later in the draft. But you do have A.J. Brown, Robert Woods, Derrick Henry, Austin Hooper now. Sounds a whole lot better to me than it did this time last week. No question about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And you need to get another – well, I could see the tight end room. It's Swaim Hooper now. I could see it being rounded out with a draft pick, which I think that they absolutely should explore. I mean, I think that still should be a priority in there somewhere. Someone that you really feel like you can bring along. And then what's the situation with Briley Moore? How is his rehab? I mean, he tore his ACL, in August. Is he someone that they feel like, can really come along and be there? Does a Ferkser still end up finding his way back here? I mean, I'm really interested to see what happens with Anthony Ferkser out there. How many teams were interested in him? Big opportunity last year and did not go well. Did not go nearly like I think he planned or like the Titans planned. I could still see them ending up coming back around to him if someone else out there doesn't give him more money than they want to give him. So that could still end up being the tight end room. But I feel like a good, rookie developmental player is important still.
Yep, I think so as well. When we got off the air on Friday, we were talking about Deshaun Watson and how it had been narrowed down to two teams, the Falcons and the Saints. And all of a sudden, it wasn't narrowed down to two teams. He goes back to the Cleveland Browns on a fully guaranteed contract, $230 million for Deshaun Watson. So he goes from ruling the Browns out, apparently, to them coming back, getting into the fold, and all of a sudden he's got a fully guaranteed 5-year, $230 million contract to be the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, which is quite interesting that he gets a fully guaranteed contract given his situation that's going on right now. That's going to put Baker Mayfield on the trading block as well. Your reaction to Deshaun Watson being the next quarterback of the Cleveland Browns and the contract that goes along with it?
Well, yeah, it's another great example of like what matters and what doesn't matter. Okay. Not that anyone should be surprised whatsoever, but it's still like, oh my goodness, you are putting everything into this guy who, regardless of what I know that the Browns put out a nice statement that said they did extensive investigation into the Watson situation. I'd love to know the specifics of their extensive investigation.
I would too.
Look, if there aren't criminal charges coming, then I can't. I mean, if you're good enough and you're a player like that, there's going to be a huge market. I understand that. It is a lot, though, there's got to be some questions, right, about what's up with this dude. I mean, is that not fair? Even if there's not criminal charges, would there not still be a little bit of, what's up with this guy?
I mean, I'd hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so, too. But ultimately, the Browns basically said, this is what has to happen. We have to do this outrageous contract to get him, and it worked. And I don't know. I'd love to know, is Cleveland in full celebration mode over this? Are Browns fans just, parading through the streets, or is there a little bit of
I don't know. That's a good question. I can tell you this. If he's on the field and there's no suspension coming, which, by the way, there still could be.
Sure.
Just because there have been no criminal charges filed, that does not change what the NFL could do.
It's probably going to be a 6-game suspension, right?
Yeah.
That's what people seem to think, and that probably makes sense.
Yeah. So it could be a 6-game suspension, 4-game, through the appeal process. I don't know what's going to end up happening here with Deshaun Watson. But I can tell you this, the first time he throws a touchdown pass for Cleveland, yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, look, ultimately, if you're a Browns fan, yes, you would rather have Deshaun Watson as your quarterback than Baker Mayfield. If Deshaun Watson is going to quarterback in the NFL, okay, if that's going to happen for sure, would you not rather him be quarterbacking your team than some other team, especially some other AFC team? Yeah. It's just that contract is that's pure belief, man. That is pure belief. And
it's the biggest contract in NFL history.
Yeah. So, which again, there's been a lot written in response of kind of just so gross, which I understand. I do. But also, let's not be surprised by this.
No.
Let's not be surprised at all by this.
Well, no, we knew when there were no criminal charges that were going to be filed, we knew. The market was open at that point for Deshaun Watson. I'm just interested to how it apparently was down to Falcons and Saints, and then all of a sudden the Browns got back in. Was it as simple as, hey, we'll fully guarantee your contract, and that's how they got back in there? Sounds like to me that's what it was.
Sounds to me like basically, yeah, just we're going to win the bidding war and blow you guys. So we talked about Watson it was like Auburn, Alabama over recruit, and Ohio State rolled in and just said, nope, here we go.
Yep.
How about 3 cars, and a big stack of cash in a McDonald's bag.
So you thought maybe that you were getting at least one of these top-tier quarterbacks out of the AFC?
They're all in the AFC.
They didn't.
They may need to go back to the old AFL NFL thing, but you flip it around. So the current AFC is like the old NFL.
Yeah.
It's sort of like then they'll play a nice little exhibition called the Super Bowl against the other league, and then okay, that's fine. I mean, it's incredible.
It's got Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Matthew Stafford hanging out on the NFC island. Just, all right, you guys have fun over there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And again, imagine if if Brady didn't decide to come back.
I know.
It's pretty amazing. But the Browns will again be fascinating. And now, where the heck is Baker going? Who are the Colts getting?
It's a great question. I mean, can they get – what's the price for Baker Mayfield? That's what I want to know. Is what is the price ultimately going to end up being? By the way, Jimmy G's still out there as well. What's the price for Baker Mayfield at this point? Knowing at this point, if you're the Browns, you don't really have any leverage in trade talks either. You got to get rid of him.
Right, and plus, that the Colts, for example, have other options. They have Jimmy G. They have maybe Matt Ryan. So, I don't know. I think the Colts – because of that, in particular with them, I mean, with both of those teams, especially, not the Falcons so much, but especially with the Niners and the Browns, I mean, you kind of have the leverage with that. So I think they could get them, one of them, maybe both of them. Trade for both of them.
Maybe so.
Relatively cheaply.
I've got some tickets to give away to see Shinedown coming up at Bridgestone Arena on May the 4th. Be caller number 5, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Caller number 5 will win a pair of tickets to see Shinedown coming up at Bridgestone Arena on May the 4th. When we come back, it is NHL trade deadline day here today. The Preds have already made one move. How active could they be today, and could that involve number 9? We'll get into that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The MTSU Blue Raiders live here. When you're in the borough, tune us in on 97.5.
In the end zone, caught, touchdown!
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey Nashville, it's Jared, and there's a new go-to for home furnishing. Social Furniture on the West Side is independently home-owned furniture store in Nashville. Forget the big box stores. Shop local, shop social. They have all the best brand mattresses, sofas, recliners, love seats, sectionals, coffee tables, and more with no waiting. They will deliver it the same day. That's with everything at Social Furniture. Enjoy new furniture now with no waiting. Shop local, shop social. 5412 Charlotte Avenue near White Bridge Road, and tell them Jared Stillman sent you.
The racing, the big one, the camping. It's all just bigger at Talladega. And with a doubleheader on Saturday, and the premiere of the next-gen cars on Sunday, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. NASCAR's biggest and baddest track is back. The Talladega NASCAR Weekend, April 23rd through the 24th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Spring is in the air, and that means all kinds of fun in the sun is just around the corner. But if you're feeling low energy, if you've put on weight and just aren't getting the gains from your workouts, if you aren't sleeping well and your libido isn't what it used to be, maybe you aren't looking forward so much to sunny days and shirtless weather. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if this sounds like you, we might very well have the answer, because you may very well be suffering from low testosterone. And that, my friend, is something that can be effectively treated to get you back to the guy you used to be. The Tennessee Men's Clinic has treated thousands of men for low T. Our treatment programs are highly effective, with most men seeing results in just a few weeks. Assuming you're like most guys, you'll sleep better, have better workouts, have higher energy, and your sex life might just improve as well. So give us a call. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090. Or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
Do you want the best for your car? Then fill up with premium at Circle K. Circle K Premium is our best fuel with double the cleaning detergent, protecting your engine from corrosion and damage so it can work at its best. And that, my friend, increases your mileage for more cha-ching in your pocket. Plus, when you fill up with premium at Circle K, you can save up to 20 cents per gallon. Offer valid Thursdays or Fridays at participating stores. For details, visit CircleK.com. Circle K. How convenient.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, broadcasting 97.5 Murfreesboro, 106.3 Williamson County,
ESPN
102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
It's Robby and Rexrode with Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, hour number 2 of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Little Guys Movers. Here's your chance to be your own boss. Join their team of 30-plus years of profits and good times. Visit littleguysfranchise.com. Robby Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Michelle Knezovic here with you, intern Nick as well, on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Take your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Lots to get into today. We've talked about Rick Barnes and the Vols going down. Big trade for the Titans over the weekend as well. They find their tight end in Austin Hooper as well in free agency. We'll get back into all that throughout the rest of the show, throughout the rest of the hour here today on Robby and Rexrode. It is NHL trade deadline day as well, Joe Rexrode, and the Predators have already made a move. They trade a second-round pick for Jeremy Lauzon from the Seattle Kraken. He was, I think, originally with Boston, ends up in Seattle last year in the expansion draft, and he has been a player this year for the Kraken that has, played on their back end, played kind of in third-pairing minutes, which would be, I think, ideally where he slots in here with the Predators on their third pair. Whether that be now when they've got some guys missing on the third pair, I'm interested to see, like when Borowiecki and Benning come back, how he slots in. But 53 games this year for the Kraken. He's got 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points. So, he's not an offensive guy that they're bringing in. He's 24 years old. He'll be 25 here in just a few weeks. Honestly, the numbers analytically are not great. But this is also a move where if you're the Predators, he is a restricted free agent after this year, which means he will be under team control. So not necessarily a rental player. I got to say, though, I was floored when they gave up a second-round pick for this. Like, I think a second-round pick is way too expensive for a guy like this. That's just me.
I was, because, this initially came across, I think Pierre got this first.
Yep.
And, a lot of times in those situations there are no terms. So as soon as he tweeted this, I'm like, oh, okay, makes sense. Then you see the second-round pick. I'm like, what? Second-round pick? To me, if that's the case, then are you intending? Of course, this is a guy who he went 52nd overall to the Bruins. It's a guy who has been viewed as a top 4 guy in the past. Does this mean that that's the intent moving forward with him? Because I just don't understand a second-round pick for a third-pairing guy who, and you said this off-air earlier, Borowiecki and Benning both on IR. I still think that's your ideal third pairing this year.
I agree.
If you can get those guys healthy, maybe this also has a commentary on that to some extent. But that's a pricey acquisition.
It's pricey. I'm kind of surprised that David Poile did this and got into this mix. Now, again, I mean, I would assume the counter argument back to that will be, well, this is not just a rental. Like, this is somebody that obviously they like, and that with being an RFA, he could be here for years to come at this point. So, but honestly, like, his play on the ice, I mean, he's been okay, but he's not been all that great. So if you're viewing him as more than third pair guy, which I don't know if the Predators are or not, but the price is pretty steep for a third pair guy. I don't like the second round pick that you're giving up here.
If he's a third pairing, the word is eluding me. Mainstay. How about that?
There you go.
Third pairing, consistent presence over several years. Is that worth a second round pick?
You can find third pairing defensemen, man.
Like a really good one.
Good one, then maybe.
I mean, that's the thing. It's so like, how many teams have really good third pairing defensemen? I mean, they're
Tampa.
Yeah, there you go.
Honestly, like the Predators this year, when
they've been good.
Like when Borowiecki and Benning have been healthy, they've been good. I mean, the numbers bear that out. They've been good. I get it, and I've talked about this, and I can't speak out of both sides of my mouth here. I've been talking about how they need to go get a veteran defenseman because you're not going to stay healthy down the stretch. I don't know that I anticipated them giving up a second-round pick in order to do so.
I mean, even just like a third-round pick would sit better.
Yeah.
And that's still a good pick. I mean, also, this to me, if there was any question, I don't think there was, but if there's any question, like if anyone actually thinks that like Philip Forsberg could be traded today, I think this would end that, would it not? I'm going to 100 now. I was at 99%. Yeah, I was at 99.9 whatever percent that they weren't trading him. I'm at 100 now with this acquisition. Like, imagine giving up a second-round pick for Jeremy Lauzon and then trading Philip Forsberg.
Oh, boy.
Like, that would actually be possibly the worst day ever for a GM in the NHL. Like, you can't do that. There's zero chance that Philip Forsberg is going to be, in case anyone out there still is hoping, like, oh, my gosh, they're not going to sign him and they're going to lose him for nothing. Well, they're not trading Philip Forsberg.
Well, by the way, Forsberg becomes the all-time franchise-leading goal scorer on a Saturday night. He gets his 211th career goal, puts the Predators up 4-2 in that game. They end up winning 6-3 in that game against Toronto. I thought an impressive game, impressive performance for them on Saturday night. I will say, when this team has a clunker, usually they respond pretty well. They had a clunker against Seattle. They destroyed San Jose the next game. Had a clunker against Philly last week. They played really well on Saturday against a very good Toronto Maple Leafs team, particularly a very good offensive Toronto Maple Leafs team. UC Saros was awesome. I know in the standings, to me, like, yes, based on the way that Forsberg is playing, it's probably good enough by itself. But with where you are in the standings after that win and just how important he is right now, like, I would be blown away if they traded him today. Now, look, maybe they get an offer that is just insane, and maybe that changes the way Poile views this, but I would be blown away if they traded Forsberg today. I don't think there's any way that's happening.
I think he could be offered half a roster of any team in the league. He wouldn't trade him.
I think so. There may be something to that. And then the question is, okay, well, that's fine. Does that mean a deal is going to get done today? I don't know. If you follow some of the reporting that's been out there about this, I wouldn't say it looks very likely that a deal gets done today. I mean, Darren Dreger has been reporting on this. Dave Pagnotta of the Fourth Period has reported on this over the weekend about how, I think the word he used was talks are, quote, not close at the moment. But both parties want this thing to work out. So it's looking like, to me, and we'll see what happens today. There's plenty of time. I know it's the day of the trading deadline, but things can change in a hurry on a day like today when there's desperation that kicks in. So I'm not saying there's no chance that Forsberg's going to be signed today, but I would say at this moment, Joe Rexrode, the most likely scenario to me is he's not signed by today, and he's also still a member of the Nashville Predators, which I know is going to make a portion of this fan base very, very nervous as they move forward.
Yeah, but again, I mean, this is where I think that like fandom can sort of be sorted out here. I mean, if you're a Predators fan who's been paying close attention, you can't be surprised right now if that's the scenario. And I agree with you. I think that's the most likely scenario. You have to, you cannot. And I understand. You can say you cannot lose them for nothing. Well, I hear you. But the way things are and the place this team is, you cannot look in that locker room and say, sorry, guys, number 9's out of here. You can't do it. I don't know if they're going to make a run, but I don't know that they're not going to make a run. And this is the best year the Preds have ever had for top-level forward production. Am I right? Am I right about that?
Yeah.
You got to roll with that. And I still think ultimately they're going to get a deal done with Forsberg. I just desperately need to know these numbers that they're reportedly so far apart on. I just don't understand how 8 times 9 can't work.
Well, I don't understand it either. It was interesting because I was talking to Darren about this over the weekend. With Friedman coming on last week, with Hertl signing his contract in San Jose, it sounds like, from what Darren was telling me, maybe that Friedman said that the Predators are going to have to get out of the $7 million range with Forsberg, in the 7s, and maybe get into the 8s. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, they're not in the 8s? That would explain to me why there's no contract yet at this point.
Yeah,
I'm feeling good about my 8 for 8.5. I really am. The more time goes by, I'm feeling that may be the landing spot.
I mean, again, we have to go to break. We can talk more about this after this. But if he can get 7 years max, is he going to get 10? Is someone going to give him 10 a year?
I severely doubt it.
I doubt that too. Someone going to give him 9? I could see that. I could see that. So if you're the Preds, again, if you're the Preds, you can say, okay, we'll give you 8, and that's 64, and 9 is 63. So that's $1 more million that we will give you than any other team was going to give you. But why not just go to 8.5 then?
Yeah.
I think it's going to get done, but if they're that low, then Poyle's really looking for a team-friendly deal.
What are your thoughts on the Predators as NHL trade deadline day is today? 615-737-1025 on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. 615-737-1025. We'll continue that discussion next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Tune in every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. for Nashville's own Jason Fitz with Jarrett Stillman and company. Fitz started his sports talk career right here on 102.5 The Game, and now he anchors shows for ESPN. Jason Fitz is brought to you by Blood Assurance. Give blood. Give local. Give life.
Don't wait to get a new job. Express Employment Professionals is hiring for more than 35,000 jobs. Find your local Express office at expresspros.com or on the Express Jobs app.
Hal Gill here for my good friends at Dunkin'. You know I love Dunkin', and I'm wicked happy that Dunks is all over Nashville. A newly remodeled next-gen Dunkin' location is at 1645 West Main Street in Lebanon. Of course, Dunks has the best coffee, but they have new spring items available as well. Try the salted caramel cream cold brew, shamrock macchiato made with Irish cream swirl, and the roasted tomato toast with hummus or avocado. They also have amazing chocolate croissants. So go treat yourself, go get your Dunks.
How can a half-carat diamond magically grow into a 2-carat diamond? With Genesis Diamond's 110% diamond upgrade guarantee.
Our trade-up policy is the best in the United States.
That's Stasia at Genesis, explaining how if you buy a diamond today and want to trade it in for a bigger one next year, Genesis always gives you back your original purchase price plus an extra 10%.
We will gladly give you every single penny you paid for the diamond plus an extra 10%, which is amazing. No one does that.
As a real-life example, take Stasia's customer Paul.
When he first started, he got a half carat, and then as he became more successful, we rewarded him. He came in and he got a 3/4 carat, and then he's traded for a carat. I'm sure I'll see him this year for a carat and a half. As they grow and change and become more successful, their engagement ring can grow with them also.
And there's no catch, no minimum trade-up requirement, and it works on diamond studs and diamond pendants as well.
You get every single investment dollar you put into the diamond, you will get an extra 10% towards the new diamond.
Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes.
You can trade as many times as you wish.
Continuously voted best jewelry store and best place to buy an engagement ring. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
At Mitchell's Mr. Transmission, we also offer free towing with any major repairs. If your vehicle has a breakdown and you should need any type towing, towing is available through Dad's Towing Service. Dad's is a professional towing company in Nashville that provides all types towing and recovery, 24 hours a day.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
Hey, it's Elijah Campbell from Darren, Donick, and Chase, and I got my radio start right here as an intern at ESPN 1025 The Game. It was an excellent experience, and we're now looking for new interns. If you think that's you, go ahead and send your resume over to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply.
Well, I started my own restaurant because I love to cook, but that also means a lot of greasy pots and pans. And we can't waste time with endless sink changeovers. So we upgraded to Dawn Professional Pot and Pan.
Dawn Professional cleans 58% more pots and pans per sink than the leading competitor.
Less dish soap, fewer changeovers, and more time doing what we love.
Dawn Professional. It's clean. Upgraded. From P&G Professional.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Robby and Rexrode on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Well, I do believe our catfish here down in the tank is pregnant. Did I hear that right?
I have heard that myself.
So we might have, I don't know how many fish do catfish have, if the catfish could catfish.
Great question. We will try to discover that for you all later as the puck is tipped into the zone by Tanner Jeannot.
Pete Weber and Hal Gill breaking it down like they always do. How many catfish do they have when they're pregnant? I've never watched this thing happen.
I don't know. Never thought about that.
One of many questions that need to be answered today on NHL trade deadline day here on Robby and Rexrode. Preds have already made one move. They acquired a defenseman for a second-round pick. Jeremy Lauzon coming in today from the Seattle Kraken. We'll see where he slots into the lineup, if he slots into the lineup when all defensemen are healthy. That's a heck of a price to give up for Jeremy Lauzon, but we'll see what happens on that front. Now the big question is, are there other moves that the Predators make today, and will Philip Forsberg be a part of it? You and I have both thrown it out there. I would be, at this point, I think, floored if Philip Forsberg got traded today. Now the question is, will he be re-signed today? And if he's not, how nervous does that make you if you're a Predators fan? Wes texting in on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Do you guys think if Forsberg is not traded today that he doesn't re-sign? Poyle loses his threat of a trade if nothing is done today. Then Forsberg holds all the leverage. This is coming from Wes on the text line.
How much do you think a threat of a trade has entered into this whole thing? I mean, it's there. It's obviously possible and no longer possible.
I don't think it's a huge factor.
I don't either.
I do think if you're David Poyle and you don't trade him today, I do think you need to feel pretty good about your chances of re-signing him. Like I know they're in the playoff mix, but like if you don't trade him and you in your heart of hearts know that you think that you're not going to re-sign him, I don't know if that's the right move if you're David Poyle. Now, again, based on...
It's still going to happen, though.
It is. Based on the conversations that I've had, based on some reporting that's been done around this, there's no sense to me that I've picked up that Forsberg doesn't want to be here. Like, I That part of it has not entered into the discussion. Matter of fact, I've kind of heard the opposite. Like I've kind of heard he does. Like this is where he wants to be, but the money has to work out. Like I hear this all the time. Well, if he wants to be here, it'll get done. Yeah, probably it'll get done, but you still have to be close on the money. Like he's not taking $2 million less here than he would somewhere else.
No. Look, like if David Poyle's saying 8 for 7, if I'm Forsberg, what? Yeah. No. And I understand. I mean, all Preds fans who say, boy, the last few years of this deal are going to hurt. I mean, I agree. Also, you can say, okay, so you got Forsberg for 8 plus 8 or 9. You got Johansson. You got Duchesne. You got Yossi. What do you have to show for it? But, again, he is the best forward you've had. He is still in his prime. And, you've got to pay the guy. You got to pay the guy more than 8, right?
Yes. I think.
I don't, I
if
feel
I'm Forsberg's agent, there's no way that I've been asking for anywhere near the same amount that Johansson and Duchesne are making. Like, I'm asking for more.
The weird thing about this is you've got so like you said, and who was that again? Talking about the 7s,
Friedman.
So Elliot Friedman's talking about being in the 7s, but Friedman has also reported he's not going to get paid more than Yossi.
Yeah,
I've seen some arguments there like, well, he should get paid more than Yossi,
which I don't think he should.
I don't know about that. Okay, but there's a big gap between these two things.
Yeah.
There's a big gap between, him and Yossi. Does he have to be over that? And, can you get him into 8? Look, he should make – yeah, I mean, I don't think – I think if you get into the whole thing, and I know agents are going to do this. Of course they are, because they are trying to get the most money they can for their clients. But if you get into this whole thing, well, this guy in your team makes this, so he must make this. Well, sometimes it just doesn't work out that way, okay? So sometimes – a deal that was made prior, it can't mean that much in a negotiation. But, I mean, 8 to me has got to be the baseline.
Well,
the floor.
The things I look at are more about what are the deals around the league right now for similar players, right? So Landeskog, he made 7. So he's making 7 a year. Hurdle makes 8. So the Hurdle deal just happened last week. He's making $8 million, which is why I feel pretty good about my 8.5, because I think Forsberg is better than Hurdle. And I think 8.5 may be in where it ends up. But that's what you pay attention to me more than anything else. All right, who are comparable players around the league, and what have they made recently? Like, what are the recent contracts suggest? Because I've heard people throw out the Jeff Skinner contract and all these things. All that's fine. That was before the pandemic, and it was before the money situation is what it is.
Before
in
the
NHL.
cap stagnated.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a totally different discussion now. So I look at the Landeskog deal. I look at the Hurdle deal. I think the cap eventually is going to go back up. So you got to forecast that as well. There's a lot that goes into it. I think somewhere in the $8 million. I think he's going to end up 8.5. I don't think it's going to happen today, though. I could be wrong. I have no information on that. I don't think he's going to be signed by the end of the day.
I mean, Poyle has got to be at 8. You got to start at 8, okay? And Forsberg and J.P. Barry need to look at 9 and then go down from there.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the window. That's the fair window on both sides. And it's really not that – that should not be that big of a gap.
I wouldn't think so.
And if the no movement situation is figured out and it's absolutely an 8-year term, then this should not be that difficult. I mean, do we need to get in there?
Send me in there. Do we get a cut?
It'd be amazing if we could get to the point in sports where, some of this could be – why can't we get some of this televised?
Yeah, live stream.
I mean, we have all these – we got Hard Knocks and all, the NHL, the Showtime show. Why can't we get some, negotiations? I mean, I'd watch that. I would tune in.
For sure. Frank on the text line says, it's not just the players, but how can Poyle look at Hines if he trades Forsberg?
Yes.
I think Philip Forsberg just wants under Yossi money, but also a no-movement clause. That's where Poyle is holding out, but this deal isn't getting done until after the season. Now, we don't know what's going on in terms of the no movement clause because, honestly, like some of the reporting that's been done around this, they have not mentioned a no movement clause one time. It's been about the number.
Well, Poyle on Darren Donick Chase last week said he said it's the number.
Yeah.
So, I mean, based on them, I don't think no movement is a thing here. I think that must be agreed upon, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Whether that's a no movement or not one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why he would say that if it was actually the no movement clause, it's a sticking point. And, yes, good point on Hines, too. Everyone. It is easy for all of us to sit back here and say, yeah, I don't know if they're going to make a run. They're so good, and, whenever they play a bad game, then it comes back up again. How is this team going to make a run? Well, this team could make a run. They could, and they certainly won't if they don't have Forsberg. And you put all that they've put into this year and overachieve relative to expectations and play like a team that could be a real handful in the playoffs, you can't, I believe, you can't rip that away. I understand the risk, but I think what you said was very key there, and I believe it too. I think Forsberg wants to be here. Maybe that wobbled a little bit when they traded away Arvidsson. He was unhappy about it and thinking, where's this team going? But now, I think it's pretty clear, and that's got to inform your decision too.
Well, and I know there are still Predators fans that believe that if they haven't signed him by the deadline today, you got to trade him. Like, you're not doing your job if you don't trade him. I don't think that's going to happen, but I am interested. Like, if they get through the day and he's still a member of this team and the contract hasn't been signed, I wonder what the reaction will be from Preds fans. I think majority will be like, all right, well, better get him signed by the time free agency comes around, but I do think there will be some freak out that takes place today if he's not under contract.
What the mindset of him and the team going into the playoffs, and again, it's not like they've clinched the playoffs, by the way, but I think they're going to get in there. But does it matter to have a deal done before the playoffs?
I don't think from the players' perspective it really does. I think they say this all the time, and it's cliche, but I think it's actually true. Like, I think they are just so in the moment right now that they're not thinking about it that much. Conversely, like, if you traded him right now, like, I think it would gut this team. Like, number one, obviously you miss him on the ice, but I think just morale-wise, like, if you traded him right now, they would be devastated.
Oh, for sure. I'm just wondering, maybe even for him especially, to just have this put away by the playoffs. Would it help him perform
I can
better?
tell you he's done. He's annoyed talking about it. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Saturday night he was not really much into the discussion of this, which I get it, but
yeah,
it's going to be there, buddy, till the contract's signed.
Exactly. So there's one reason right there. I mean, if you put that away, and then it's okay. You're going to be here. It's over. Focus on the playoffs versus, oh my God, I'm going to be asked about this again, even though it's a huge Game 4 coming up.
Yeah.
I think that might matter.
We'll continue to take your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. A gigantic weekend in the world of sports. The Vols out of the NCAA tournament. Big trade from the Titans, and it is NHL trade deadline day. We'll take your thoughts on all of it coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The Titans have been making additions.
The Titans have signed Austin Hooper to a one-year, $6 million contract.
And subtractions.
So Julio Jones shown the door. Surprise, not surprised.
I'm not surprised.
As free agency is well underway, what's next for the two-tone blue?
You're going to have to make some cuts, and you're going to have to move some money around.
Keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Gary Ashton here. I love hearing people say, don't sell without the intel, because it means they're really embracing our message. Now's a great time to sell your home in Nashville, but you need the intel only the Gary Ashton team can provide. Intel that helps you sell your home without any staging or showings. Intel to find your next home so you can sell your current one while the market's hot. Intel to win the buyer battle and cash in on your home equity now. Let everyone else get the same information and compete for the same properties, while you get the intel edge with the Gary Ashton team, the official real estate team for your Tennessee Titans. And if you're looking for a great career, join our team. We added 65 new agents last year, and we want you to join us this year. Remember, Don't sell without the intel. And if you're looking for a great career, the Gary Ashton team wants you in 2022. Call 615-301-1650 or visit GaryAshton.com today.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. Hiller is giving away free vacations for you and your family this month. With every purchase of a new whole home generator or select new HVAC systems, Hiller is giving you a free week-long vacation. With every purchase of a new tankless water heater, they're going to give you a free weekend vacation. And they're giving you a Visa Rewards card to help pay for gas to get you there. Choose from over 400 Marriott, Wyndham, Hilton, or Hyatt hotel properties. Take advantage of this unbelievable deal while you can. These deals are only available for a limited time, so schedule today. Visit happyhiller.com for all of the details.
Attention veterans of Middle Tennessee. Little Guys Movers wants to put your hard-earned skills and leadership talent to work with your very own Little Guys Movers franchise. Be your own boss and build a team with standards as high as your own, and all while serving your community with the same hustle that you served your country. Use your existing 401k to invest in yourself. Financing options are available. Start a fulfilling, profitable new chapter of your life as a member of a team with 30-plus years of growth and good times at littleguysfranchise.com. That's littleguysfranchise.com.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 11 Pro and get an easy start to your workday. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. Again, that's 877-ASK-DELL.
It's Tango Day, everybody. Follow after me. And step, and back, and slide, and dip. That's tango.
Why is Ice-T leading our tango class?
It's probably the heart-shaped Honey Nut Cheerios. He found out they can help lower cholesterol. Now he's having fun taking care of his heart in all sorts of new ways.
Let's see those hips move, people.
Hurry and get your heart-shaped Cheerios. They're only here for a limited time.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Nashville, this is Dan Lebitard. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
When you look at this team, have you been concerned about the lack of just a reliable post-scoring like all season?
Yes. I mean, because I think in college you've got to have somebody, and regardless of size, you've got to have somebody that can go in when you have days like this, when you can't seem to find the bottom of the bucket. You've got to be able to throw it in there and get fouled, put pressure on people. But I'm also proud of the way, I mean, today, again, at times, we had a lot of freshmen out there, and we, new experience for, I think we only had 3 guys who have been in an NCAA game, but Jonas, Brandon, those guys have grown up, Uros has gotten better. Folky's been with us a long time, but I think at the collegiate level, you've got to have some presence around the rim, and we haven't been able to do that consistently, and as you said, it came mostly from our guards.
That was Rick Barnes over the weekend after a 76-68 loss for the Vols against Michigan in round 2 of the NCAA tournament. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Brought to you by Little Guys Movers. Here's your chance to be your own boss. Join their team of 30-plus years of profits and good times. Visit littleguysfranchise.com. Make sure you're tuning in later this morning at 8:45 for your chance to participate in Preds Pick to Click and win a pair of tickets to a future Preds home game brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka. Joe, tough loss for the Vols this weekend. We got a lot to get into here in this segment. Busy weekend here in the world of sports. But, man, that was a gut punch to Tennessee fans on Saturday against Michigan. They shot 2 of 18 from 3, and we had a texter point this out on the text line earlier. It's not all about making the three-point shot, and there are other reasons you lose the game. But when you dry up for as long of a stretch as they did offensively, it's just tough to overcome that, and the Vols could not overcome it. And here we are yet again, having a discussion about a Rick Barnes coach team out early in the NCAA tournament. So that narrative still ongoing for the Vols.
Yeah, and again, totally fair. I mean, it's a huge sample size of information Rick Barnes 25-26 in the NCAA tournament and has been past the first weekend once since 2008, and that means something. I don't know specifically what it means about what he does, but it means something. And I just think that this particular, again, it's very different from last year to me when you look at the aftermath and even the reaction. Because last year's team was very frustrating, and then it was like, I think most people, myself included, thought Oregon State was fraudulent. Yeah, they made a run through a bad Pac-12, we thought, tournament. But then, of course, they go on a run. But it's a bad team. This team, it's going to be tough to get this exact mix. It's just hard. It's hard to get it perfect, and it wasn't perfect. Like if you could have Huntley Hatfield a year later, or whatever, you could have, even like a Justin Powell stronger, because I still think he could end up being, something for Tennessee moving forward. But to have Kennedy Chandler and to have, Vescovy and James as juniors and enough depth inside, this team had the pieces to make a run. This is far from the only team sitting around this week watching basketball that could have made a run. It happens every year. But this was such a great opportunity. And Michigan should not have gotten – I don't blame Michigan for what they did. I mean, Juwan Howard's sitting there watching Kennedy Chandler get to the rim over and over again. They had to adjust. But Michigan should not have gotten away with what it did defensively. And when the Vols had that 6-point lead down the stretch, they just missed good shot after good shot. And if you get good shots, I mean, it's still a make or miss game.
Yep.
They hit none of them. And if you want to blame Rick Barnes for that, you can. I mean, again, the larger picture is not good. In this particular game, I think that the Vols, I think everything they did schematically made sense and personnel-wise made sense. They should not have gone big, no. But they blew it, man. They blew it.
They did. There's no question about it. Brandy on the text line says, the Vols pump everybody up and make them think it's actually possible, then crash and burn, breaking hearts around the state. Sounds about right. That's coming from Brandy on the text line.
I had some Vols fans comment on my column about Rick Barnes, that they still have a better feeling because they won the SEC tournament, which is interesting. And I mean, it's fair. They haven't done that since 1979. But to me, that's also another example of like why. Because there's going to be a lot of also like, this is all fake. They never had a chance. You guys got suckered in and everything. And no, if you watch this team all year, no, they were good enough. They were good enough, and they had those offensive lulls in a lot of wins even.
Yep. That
you wondered, when is that going to get you? But when it gets you at the end of a game like that, that's so important, man, that's heartbreaking for Tennessee and for Tennessee fans. I would not look at that and say, it was all a fraudulent team. No, it was a team that could have made the Final Four.
Titans trade for Robert Woods over the weekend, a 2023 6th-round pick in exchange for Robert Woods from the L.A. Rams. It's a big move, Joe Rexrode. If Robert Woods can be healthy and he recovers from the torn ACL, he's 29 years old. He's been very productive in L.A. the last few years out there. Obviously, they're going through salary cap issues and making decisions out Robinson, so there's a lot that's happening out in L.A. that caused this move on Robert Woods coming to the Titans.
I mean, I think it's a great price. 6th-round pick and 23 for Woods. He is still young. He's productive. ACL fit right in to the player acquisition tradition of the Titans. But seriously, I think it's a value, obviously, that is partially related to that. The Rams moved on. He's been a really good player. I've liked Robert Woods for a while, and I think he'll fit in here really well. It's interesting that they brought in a former Rams receiver last year that didn't fit in at all. I think Robert Woods will fit in perfectly. So I have a fair amount of certainty that Robert Woods will be a quality number 2 receiver. They still need to get more to me. They need to get a speed guy still. He's a good, solid, physical receiver. They need a speed guy. And then Hooper is it's good. He's a number one tight end. He's a number one tight end quality player. Will he be a good number one tight end here? I don't know. But I like that move too.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that one works out. Like, I agree with what you said earlier. I think if Woods is healthy, and that's a big if with anybody in the National Football League, is being healthy. But if he's healthy, I think there's a fair degree of certainty based on what he's been throughout his career and his age. Like, it's not like he's 35 years old. He's 29. Like, I think you know pretty much what you're getting there. Hooper, I don't really know. Like, Hooper, it looked like when he was in Atlanta, he was on his way to becoming, I'm not going to say Travis Kelce or George Kittle or anything like that, but he was on his way to becoming an upper echelon tight end in the league. And it just really hasn't been that good in Cleveland the last couple of years. Now, how much of that is Cleveland and Baker Mayfield and the situation that he was in, and how much of that is him as a player? I know he had injuries in 2020. He was in 16 to 17 last year, so injuries weren't much of a problem. Can he be more productive than 345 yards? I guess we'll find out moving forward.
Yeah, and can he be what they need him to be in the run game and just be the all-around player that they sign up for? If so, it's going to be a really nice value for them. I don't think they were ever going to get into the mix for the top guys. Of the mid-level guys, this is probably close to the top of the mid-level in terms of past performance, and I think potential. And so much of this is just how motivated he is to kind of reset, redefine himself after the 2 years in Cleveland.
Got a texture that says Robert Woods equals Super Bowl, LOL.
It's a team sport. 1 of 53. Pretty good, though. I mean, they're better. They're better. It's not going to be like making the rest of the AFC tremble. The AFC, 8 Hall of Fame quarterbacks all playing at the same time, but it makes the Titans better.
What's interesting is going to be, like, obviously, I mean, there's so much hype around the Julio move last year that the Robert Woods is not going to get anywhere near as much hype as that.
No.
It's probably going to end up being light years better for the Titans, would be my guess.
Yeah, like if Robert Woods had a much better season than Julio Jones, I wouldn't be surprised. Again, what will he be early? I don't know. I mean, it may be that early on, based on the timeline, I would assume that he would be playing from week 1, but, I mean, it is an ACL. But, yeah, you always have the possibility of an injury issue. If he doesn't have any, I'm sure he'll have a better season than Julio Jones did in 2021.
Coming up next, it's time for the Rex Rant, Joe Rexrode's rant of the week. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Temperatures seasonal this morning in the 40s. We are on our way to highs in the 70s this afternoon under increasing clouds ahead of our next storm chance on Tuesday.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
The 2022 Major League Soccer season is officially here, and Nashville SC's new home, Geodis Park, is nearly complete. Don't miss Nashville SC's home opener May 1st. Secure your season tickets now. Come on and grab a seat at NashvilleSC.com/22ticks.
To understand what makes Genesis Diamonds so different than other jewelry stores, you have to go back over 40 years to the diamond cutting capital of Tel Aviv, Israel. That's where Genesis owner Boaz Ramon grew up, in the center of the diamond universe. His connections with the best diamond cutters allowed him special access, giving rise to a thriving wholesale business here in the United States. Then, after a few years, this wholesaler changed the game and started selling these precious diamonds direct to the public at the same prices he had sold to the jewelry stores. The no middleman concept became an instant success. Today, Genesis Diamonds provides that extraordinary value to people right here in Middle Tennessee, leading the industry with the highest quality diamonds that still come straight from the best cutters, offered at the guaranteed best price of any jewelry store in America. Genesis Diamonds, a truly revolutionary concept with a unique history rooted in quality, committed to excellence, and always focused on value. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes, Green Hills, and Cool Springs.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired a lounge singer to be their office receptionist.
Hello, this is Mickey Marquis, and you've reached the office of Doug & Associates. Thank you very much. Catch me Tuesday nights at the Hotel Johnson. Hello?
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Doug & Associates, this is Mickey Marquis. Hello?
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. It's also AutoZone's national hiring event. We're hiring all positions, from sales to warehouse and drivers, both part-time and full-time. Visit careers.autozone.com or any one of our stores.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
We're out of the brand name, but we do have the generic version of that.
Serene's Pharmacy can't keep up with allergy season.
Who's next in line?
They need certified technicians to alleviate the headache.
Ma'am, I'm so sorry for the wait. We'll have your prescription filled soon. I need some help.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
So, what is Jared Stillman gonna say this afternoon?
You got to play if you want to earn $14.6 million next year.
Oh, brother, here we go.
But I'm done on investing money in dudes that can't get on the field.
Tune in to Stillman and Company, weekday afternoons from 2 to 6.
This is some serious stuff right here.
Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
This is Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 1025 The Game.
The time is now for the Rex Rant.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
On Robby and Rexrode, here on ESPN 1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda.
And it is that time of the week, time for the Rex Rant here on Robby and Rexrode. Joe Rexrode's Rant of the Week. Little Kokomo bringing us back in. It's going to be a nice day today. 70, 72, 73 degrees out. The song a little bit more fitting. Warmer times are upon us, Joe Rexrode.
Just being on the beach, jamming that song. Can you imagine?
I can imagine.
All day long. Just put it on a loop, you know?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Speaking of the weather, I feel like I almost want to rant about how you hit a 330-yard drive.
I had a moonshot yesterday. I'm not typically one to talk about my golf game because nobody cares, but I did hit a 300-yard drive yesterday.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
I've never come close to that. That's
I don't really know how I did
either
it.
Either you retire on that or you absolutely go all in and you're buying yourself new like gloves and
I felt
nice
bad
tees
because I hit into somebody, but I was like, well, they're so far away. Like I'm not gonna hit them, and then I did. It was not good. Anyway,
that's awesome though.
I'll be on the PGA Tour next week.
Well, look, I mean, at this point, you probably won't be. But if you keep working your butt off, why couldn't you be on the senior team?
Well, that's right.
See, that's always the dream. Golf's great because you're like, you could start getting really good, like in your mid-30s and be like, you know what? If I really work hard, the senior tour is there for me.
Tiger, coming for you here in about 15 years, buddy.
There you go.
Joe Rexrode, your rant of the week. I'm
All
interested
right.
to see what this one is.
So Saturday in Indy, there's quite a weekend in Indy. Getting to write a little bit about St. Peter's and Doug Eddert's awesome mustache and what amazing. Kentucky and Tennessee don't leave that building. Kentucky and Tennessee leave that building going home, and St. Peter's and Michigan move on. But Saturday was almost hard to watch, honestly, from press row because I did see a team shrink in the moment. I don't know if there was any particular missed shot that was like especially that, but as they started to pile up, you just kind of knew. And you've seen it in this tournament before. There's always different factors, but the Tennessee basketball team shrank in the moment. And it's a team that honestly, I mean, it really is one of the best groups of kids I've been around. And that's saying a lot. That is saying a lot. I've talked before about Michigan State, which, by the way, almost beat Duke yesterday. But, some fantastic teams. And I think basketball teams, smaller teams, we've talked about this. It's a lot different than like a football team. There's the same people over and over, and you get to know them a little bit better. And this team, Tennessee, I mean, it's one of several from this program that I'm going to remember when I'm done, just as really enjoying. Like, they're fantastic kids. They like each other. They're coaches. They should make Tennessee fans proud, but they shrank in the moment. Did they choke? Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to call it. But I am a believer in trying to go a little deeper than that. And different jobs are different within sports media, for sure. They just are. But I think we should all kind of understand the different mediums at work here. But I think in any medium, there's nothing wrong with depth, right? There's nothing wrong with trying to understand things and having more information and more context. I think that's good in any medium. Not just saying fill-in name sucks or fill-in name is a choker, like some people like to do, including some Twitter trolls who have been muted. Now, I totally understand the impulse to bring up Rick Barnes' record this time. You can't ignore it. And I absolutely believe the dynamic of Rick Barnes and his record and the conversation around it and the relationships he has with his players actually had something to do with this loss. I believe that. I think from weekend to weekend you see I think more than any other reason, if you really tapped into what they wanted to do, they wanted to win for him to shut people up. And that's great if you do it. But then when this happens, I have to look at that and say, I think that his record over that long period of time is now feeding on itself and making it harder. So, look, just because we're on Sports Talk Radio doesn't mean we should completely be against depth and nuance. Some things are black and white. I don't think this is. I think most things have gray, often multiple shades of gray, not necessarily 50 shades of gray, but quite a few shades of gray. So let's see if we can be smarter in Sports Talk Radio than throwing poop from your high chair at people. And that's the end of my rant.
I like it.
I like that one, Rexrode.
Thank you.
Nicely done. It is interesting. I mean, I got done. I was at Bridgestone Arena. So the Preds game it's just started as kind of the second half is winding down there with Tennessee and Michigan. And I'm sitting there watching this take place, and I think Ziegler missed an open shot. Josiah James missed one from the corner that I swear to you went halfway down and then popped halfway back out. Kennedy Chandler missed a three. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, I was like, and they're wide open, and they're just not hitting them. Like, what is going on here? I still thought, I mean, up until about 3 minutes left. About 3 minutes left, I was like, yeah, they're about to lose. They're getting ready to lose this game. And I thought to myself, the conversation is about to go to Rick Barnes, and I get it. Like, I do. We talked about it here on the show. The March record sucks. It's not good. Like, it's got to be better in the NCAA tournament. But I walked away from that game, and I was just like, I mean, I don't really know what to do if I'm him. But the shots were there. You talked about Michigan's adjustment. They weren't letting them get inside. They were wide open threes. Wide open.
They were. I mean, honestly, most teams wouldn't have done what they did, except that Tennessee had missed. You know, like if Tennessee had hit like two or three more earlier, maybe he doesn't do that. But look, I'll give him credit. It was a gamble, saying, you know what, these guys they're just having one of those nights from outside. Basically, let them shoot. Look at these guys' percentages. I mean, these are good shooters getting these shots too. You have to take those shots. They're letting you have those shots. So I understand the idea of, no, you got to go inside. I mean, you could have taken a couple dribbles in and made it a 2-point shot and then had less value in the shot and actually made it a tougher shot because you're used to catching and shooting three. I mean,
can't play for Nate Oates if you do that.
Yeah, that's right. Nate Oates will cut you on the spot. They needed somebody to step up and just make that big play. I thought maybe Ziegler's steal for the layup to put him back ahead might be that play. But you got Eli Brooks making the run. Well, Josiah James is just like, that was on my side of the floor. So I'm kind of looking. I'm like, where is he going? And then I saw the ball just flip into and the look on Josiah James' face was just like, oh, my God. And at that moment, I'm like, yep, they're done.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's the NCAA tournament. and it happens, and there are other teams that could have won this tournament, including Tennessee, including Kentucky, including Auburn, who are sitting at home right now. But the problem is Tennessee's coach has this just consistent issue. And another interesting thing on that is when he was at Texas, a lot of people blamed it on, like, maybe he's a little bit too hard on his players and stuff like that. He's a little bit too intense.
Yep.
And I actually think that he's adjusted that some at Tennessee. But I honestly, I don't necessarily buy that anyway. Again, I covered a coach who screams at players and refs and everybody more than anyone in the world. And he's one of the best NCAA tournament coaches ever.
He was laughing last night, Izzo.
Laughing?
Yeah.
Laughing
at the refs.
at, like, the calls? Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when he's really
about to lose it.
Yeah. But I mean, there's an example of, like, you couldn't be harder on everybody and you win. So I don't know what it is. Some of it, I'm sure some of these runs, it's just bad luck. I mean, Kevin Durant, you don't get to but that happens. There's great players. Kenny Chandler could have been like the most outstanding player of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
He probably would never play for Tennessee again. And that's the killer for Tennessee. But it is. There's a lot to this, and there's just not a simple answer. And it'd be a lot easier if Rick Barnes had done something from a coaching perspective, in-game perspective, that was like, there's why they lost, and he blows it. Rick Barnes blows it. I got nothing. I got nothing on that.
Well, now the question is, and different people are going to have different answers to this. I mean, there's a lot of talk about Rick Barnes right now. It's like, if you're a Tennessee fan, there's some that want him gone. There's some that say this is what he is in the NCAA tournament, and you're never going to get past this point with Rick Barnes. And there are others that say, yeah, have you seen what Tennessee basketball is without Rick Barnes and recruiting and what that looks like? I kind of fall more on that side of it. Like, I like Tennessee basketball being in the mix as a Tennessee fan. But I do understand, like, if you have aspirations to win a national championship, the Rick Barnes part of this right now in the tournament is a problem. I don't think there's any question about that.
Well, Tennessee ended up number 2 in defensive efficiency. And, again, Michigan did some really good things. Michigan's tough. 7-1 dude, and he's hitting 3 threes in a game. They're tough. But Tennessee is losing Mike Schwartz, its defensive coordinator, who came up with all they do on defense. And they do so many different things, and they jump and harass people, and it's fun to watch. But he's out of there. So it is moving forward. I mean, Rick Barnes has got to find an associate head coach, and he's got an all-new staff now from what he had 3 years ago. He's not getting younger. He's losing Kenny Chandler. I do think that thinking about the future beyond Rick Barnes at some point is worth doing. And if he's going to stay here and keep having these really good teams, then maybe it can be like a succession plan kind of thing. But the idea of, like, firing him or something, I mean, that's just – there's no way that's happening. There's no way it should happen.
Coming up next, we'll be joined by Corey Curtis from News 2. We'll get his thoughts on the big Titans moves over the weekend. That's next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Did you see the Tennessee Titans? He has all the weapons to make it happen.
There's so much to pay attention to. Greeny from 9 to 11.
Ryan Tannehill is the most disrespected player.
Art and Han from 11 to 2.
You never stop punching. They've got to learn how to close the deal.
And the Paul Feinbaum Show afternoons from 2 to 6.
Are these legitimate contenders to the party?
Your exclusive home for ESPN Radio in the Music City.
ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Time for the Preds Report.
presented by New Nissan.
The Nashville Predators took on the Toronto Maple Leafs Saturday at Bridgestone Arena, and they went into the third period leading 3-1, but the Leafs got on the board, and then it was up to the Predators star to put things away. Johansson to the blue line. Yossi for Duchesne. Duchesne to the side of the net. Forsberg tried to shoulder from the score. Philip Forsberg becomes the Predators' all-time leading goal scorer with that one. And, folks, you get a Frosty. Philip Forsberg with his 211th career goal for the Predators, a franchise record. Matt Duchesne and Yossi set it up. 4-2 there. Would go on to win the game 6-3. They will be up next from Anaheim on Monday night. Pre-game show at 8, the game at 9 o'clock.
All the
The best car deals in Smashville start at Newton Nissan. Visit them at Newton Nissan of Gallatin or Newton Nissan South in Shelbyville.
This is Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
It's the official Bud Light Preds watch party as your Nashville Predators take on the Vegas Golden Knights this Thursday. Puck drops at 9 p.m., but the party starts at 8:30 with all kinds of specials. See you at headquarters, Beercade, downtown Nashville on 2nd Avenue. Go Preds!
Any supplier can drop a box outside your door. But if you want a partner who delivers great customer service too, rely on Cintas. Your dedicated service reps can deliver what you need to help your business run smoothly. From essential cleaning products to hygienically cleaned apparel, fire protection services to first aid and safety supplies. That service you can't get from a box.
Oh, I'm ready!
Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Start your bracket with a bang. Right now, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving new customers $150 instant bonus guaranteed. That's right. You'll get $150 in bonus site credit, and all you have to do is place your first bet of $5 or more. How you bet the bracket is up to you. You can choose from the money line, totals, prop bets, and so much more. I have no predictions for this week, because I was just that bad last week, and I just can't keep doing that to you all. Plus, with Cash Out, the ball is in your court, so you can close out your bet whenever you want before the game is even over. Join FanDuel with the promo code JGM, and then you can place your $5 bet to score $150 in bonus site credit guaranteed. Promo code JGM on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. 21 and older in present Tennessee, first online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues non-withdrawable site credit expires in 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, with Darren, Donick, and Chase middays from 10 to 2. Talk amongst themselves.
It's not a star-studded group. They're not all there.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell Media Station.
It's Robby and Rexrode with Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, hour number 3 of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Little Guys Movers. Here's your chance to be your own boss. Join their team of 30-plus years of profits and good times. Visit littleguysfranchise.com. Robby Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode, Michelle Konezovic, intern Nick here with you on this Monday morning. We go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Corey Curtis from News 2. Corey, what's going on? How we doing?
I'm all right, guys. How are you doing today?
Great. Appreciate you taking time to be with us. Hope you had a good spring break. Corey, what did you make of the Robert Woods move for the Titans? They trade a 2023 sixth-rounder to the Rams. Robert Woods back in exchange. Seems like pretty good value for the Titans. What are your thoughts on this deal?
Well, number one, I really like Robert Woods. I mean, he's a player I've liked a lot for a long time because he's a professional. He's physical. He gets yards after the catch. He's versatile. I mean, he is really the kind of player that really fits with this football team. So I totally, when I saw that trade, I was like, that makes sense because he is their absolutely kind of guy. But the other thing that strikes out to me is how frustrated, how aggravated, how much they must have just given up, because you would rather trade another draft pick for a guy coming off of an ACL than deal with Julio Jones' hamstring for another year, which means they pretty much just said this hamstring's not getting any better, and we're not going to go through that song and dance of wondering every week how long we're going to have him for.
Yeah, well, that's no doubt, Corey. I agree. I mean, I guess like the Julio, obviously it's like the Julio thing happens, and it's like, okay, so what is the answer other than trying to draft someone? I mean, when I saw this for a 2023 six, I'm like, okay, now that's pretty good work. And I understand it falls into the pantheon of players with serious injuries that John Robinson acquires, you know. Yeah. But
you still lost a second-round pick trading for Julio Jones as well.
Oh, sure.
So,
oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a catastrophic loss. But yeah, I mean, look, there's an old Patriot tradition of trading for distressed assets. I don't recall them trading for as many injured players or acquiring as many injured players as the Titans have. But, the Titans have certainly gone the distressed assets route in acquiring some guys who have high upside if they fully recover. Unfortunately, as we've seen, not all of them fully recover.
Corey, what do you think of the Austin Hooper move, bringing him in as the presumed tight end 1 for this team?
Well, I think it's a great signing, especially for the value, $6 million. I think that's really, really strong, and it's a sign why you don't always pay early. I know everybody was freaking out the first few days when they didn't pay, to bring in a Hayden Hurst or a Ty Conklin, and I like Ty Conklin. But when you pay in the first day or two, you overpay. Almost every time you overpay in those situations. And we saw last year, it did not appear the Titans put a ton of value on that position by the way they addressed it. So I wasn't sure how much value they were going to put on that position this year. But, look, this is a guy capable of catching 70 passes a year. He's proved it. And so I think he is a good football player, capable with high upside again, and they got him at the right price. And so I think that's really strong. But they still got to draft somebody. Now, will they? I don't know. But to me, when you look at this roster and the future of this football team, you got to draft somebody. And for the love of me, I don't understand the love affair with Jeff Swaim, but there it
is. Some Swaim shade on a Monday.
Look, he's a guy, right?
Yeah, he's a guy.
That's it. He's a guy.
Well, no doubt. And, the tight end room absolutely still needs work, even with that guy and this new guy in there. So, as you said, I agree with you. It's somewhere they got to draft tight end. I still feel like if there's a really good receiver in the first round, I still think that they need speed still. They've got to have.
I agree.
But how do you view just where they are now in this, including the offensive line, in this whole idea of being better around Tannehill?
Well, you've got to have guys healthy, number one. You've got, Derek's got to be healthy, which, you would think he is, and Robert Woods has got to come off and be healthy. And you're right. I think you still need another speed element, dependable, explosive element at the wide receiver position. And, when they talked about being better around Tannehill, it wasn't just talent-wise. They talked about, basically the way guys played, creating passing lanes, coming back to the football, hands extended. They were just talking about, making everything, fundamentally perfect around him as well. But, look, they had pieces last year. They suffered through injuries. Do I think that they're hugely better? Well, look, Henry's a year older. Austin Hooper should be an improvement at the tight end position for sure. And we don't know what we're going to get from Robert Woods, and we don't know what we're going to get at left guard. And so, I think that there's still some unknowns there. I would say they look slightly better. But, there were a lot of people when they signed Julio Jones or traded for Julio Jones who had this team scoring 35 points a game last year. And so, you wait and you see. They clearly have a plan. And I think that's always the most important thing. You have a plan for what you want to look like, who fits. I think they found some guys who fit, and I think that's important. So I feel good enough about this football team around Ryan Tannehill. The question is, can Tannehill step up his game? Because, I don't remember who asked the question. I think it was Teron, and he's right. At some point, the quarterback, the players around the quarterback don't elevate the quarterback. The quarterback's got to elevate the players. We've seen that with the great ones, that they elevate the players. And so Tannehill's got to elevate, and he's got to elevate the guys around him.
Corey Curtis from News 2 on the line with us, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Corey, what did you make of the Deshaun Watson decision, signing a 5-year, $230 million, fully guaranteed contract with the Cleveland Browns?
Well, I don't think for him that's a hard decision, right?
No.
5 years, $230 million. It just goes to show you how important that position is in this league, that you're willing to take a guy and not just sign him, but you're willing to trade 3 ones and more and shell out $46 million a year. Isn't it guaranteed, fully guaranteed?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
For a guy still facing allegations from 22 women of wrongdoing. And you're willing, and look, I know these teams do their own investigations and feel things, but forgive me if I don't trust Cleveland's process, all right? But they weren't the only ones. There were other teams lined up, which goes to show you how important this position is. And not only that, as a Chicago Bear fan, I can tell you how hard it is to get this position right. For the Chargers and the Packers and the Colts, it was easy for a long time. Ask the Colts how that's going now. They don't always fall in your lap. Even when you pick first, they don't always fall in your lap. And so teams are willing to take chances. The Bears trading up to get Mitch Trubisky, trading up again to get Justin Fields. The Colts trading to get Carson Wentz, hoping to get his, get magic in a bottle and get him back to where he was a few years ago. It didn't work out, but so I mean that's number one. It just shows you the desperation teams have to get that position right, and I say desperation. And then the other thing is the AFC is just sick, and that's I get Titans fans' angst. Because you're not looking at the AFC South landscape. You're looking at the AFC landscape. And all the teams and all the quarterbacks you could face in the playoffs that you think ultimately are better than yours. And that's the disheartening thing.
Yeah, I said earlier, it's like this is almost like they should do like the old before the merger, like if the AFC becomes like what the NFL was, and then the NFC is like the old AFL. They played a little exhibition called the Super Bowl at the end.
Do you think that had anything to do with Brady coming back? Looking at the NFC landscape and knowing it's basically him and Aaron Rodgers, that's about it.
I think he just wanted to ruin bracket day, but that's just me. So on Deshaun, Corey. After all this is over, and a lot of people think he's going to be a 6-game suspension, but at some point it's going to get to he's the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Like, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen with him in his career? Like, do you think that this is going to be worth it for them?
Well, if he gets them to the Super Bowl, it absolutely is, and it's why Jay Cutler is Jay Cutler, but he elevated the position for the Chicago Bears. He got them to the NFC Championship game and played the position better than virtually anyone they've had for a long time. And so from that aspect, that trade looked okay to me. And if he gets them to the Super Bowl, it's worth it. He's still young, and he can still rewrite a lot of his career. I mean, look, the very first part of his career was spectacular, and he had a reputation of just being this saintly guy that has obviously been smudged. But he's got a lot of football and life left in him to try to, I don't want to say rewrite this narrative because you can't. I mean, it's there. But to show he's more. And, we'll see if he can do it. We'll see we'll see how Cleveland goes, and we'll see how Deshaun goes. Because he's not getting a second chance. He's getting the mother of all second chances. And we'll see, they always say money doesn't solve problems. It just solves problems with big money behind it, or can create problems with big money behind it. We'll see how he handles the situation. I do know this. If I was a masseuse in Cleveland and I got a call, I might not take that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. Corey Curtis from News 2, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. Corey, appreciate you taking time to join us this morning.
All right, thanks. Hey, guys, I apologize. I was out the entire weekend with the family emergency, so I missed out on a lot of what happened this weekend. And I did want to ask you, Robby, I saw some Twitter headlines said the Forsberg talks are not going well. What's going on there?
Well, it just seems like they're still at an impasse on the number. My guess is, though, they're not trading him today. I would be shocked if they trade him today.
Yeah, especially with as well as they've rebounded from that lull that they had. They're playing well again, and it'd be tough to not go into the playoffs with with that.
I would say so.
Never had before.
Yeah.
So.
No question about it. Corey, we'll
Thanks,
talk to you
guys.
next week. Absolutely. Corey Curtis from News 2, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode, joins us every Monday morning at 8 o'clock. We'll react to what Corey had to say there. Take your thoughts as well on the Titans. Robert Woods, now a member of the Tennessee Titans. We'll get into that next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Every Friday at 8:30 on Robby and Rexrode, we talk with the legend, Terry Chris, about all things Nashville Predators, presented by Copper Branch on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
With certified refurbished from eBay, you can enjoy summer with up to 50% savings on top brands like Bose, Works, iRobot, and more. Go full on summer with half off top brands. Shop Memorial Day savings at eBay.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Hillside Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free. Plus, a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Hillside Medical now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can save just by being you. DriveWise in the Allstate mobile app gives you personalized driving feedback, and by adding it to your policy, you can save for driving safe just by being yourself. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts. Savings vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
O'Reilly Auto Parts has what you need to keep your engine performing at its best. Our professional parts people will help you select the right products for your vehicle and your budget. Like 5 quarts of Castrol GTX conventional oil and a MicroGuard filter, just $28.99. Save money on your next oil change. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Interact with Robby and Rexrode. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We're live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio here with you on this Monday morning, taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Thanks to Corey Curtis from News 2 for joining us in the last segment. Robert Woods, now a member of the Tennessee Titans. He was traded from the LA Rams in exchange for a 2023 6th-round pick for the Titans, so adding to the wide receiver room to go along with A.J. Brown. Julio Jones is out. Robert Woods is in. Joe Rexrode, what do you think of the Robert Woods move, and what do you think he brings to the table in terms of his skill set and how it fits this Titans offense, which, by the way, very similar to the offense they run out in L.A.?
Which is what we said about Josh Reynolds last year.
That is what we said.
So Josh Reynolds from the Rams was, well, actually, when they got him, he was wide receiver 2. Other than, of course, Nick Westbrook-Akina, as someone may have told you a year ago, was going to be a key player for the Titans. But anyway, Josh Reynolds was wide receiver 2 and didn't work out at all and didn't fit. Also was hurt, but still, clearly there was a disconnect between his skill set and him and this offense and this coaching staff. I think Robert Woods is going to fit in perfectly, and it's true that Mike Vrabel talks up opponents for sure. The one thing you can count on in a game week is that if you ask him about opposing players, he's like a lot of coaches, loves to talk up the other team's players. But the stuff he said about Robert Woods it's very relevant now. So TD and Luke Worsham get credit for finding that and tweeting that out after they got him. He's talking about his blocking, and he loves receivers who block.
Yes, he does.
And Robert Woods is considered one of the best blocking receivers in the league. Some people will laugh at that, but if you watch the Titans play, they do rely on some receivers who block some people. So I think he'll fit in really well. I think it's a great move. 6th-round pick to get him. Basically, this is your replacement for Julio Jones. So you're replacing the guy with the 2-year hamstring saga with a younger guy coming off an ACL. Much more serious injury, but maybe rehab, get through it, and you're fine. This happens a lot now in sports. Ultimately, I think they'll probably get a better year from Robert Woods in 22 than they got from Julio Jones in 21, and it's an important move. And now, if you can get that rookie in that can come right in and help, then you're looking at A.J. Brown, rookie TBD, Robert Woods, and then a really nice 4th guy in Westbrook-Ikhine.
Which is where he should be.
Yeah.
Number 4.
And there's no shame in that at all.
Yeah. Let's go to our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Matt from Camden texting in says, if Bobby Trees comes in healthy and with the signing of Austin Hooper on paper, it's hard not to think that this offense will be better than last year at the skill positions. By the way, can we put the Bobby Trees nickname in the same Hall of Fame that the Pharaoh is in? That's really good stuff.
I love Bobby Trees. Did he just make that up, or has that been a thing? It's already been a thing?
It's on his Pro Football Reference page as well. Bobby Trees.
Elijah loves it. He tweeted it out.
I didn't know that. Bobby Trees is great.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm not going to call him Robert Woods anymore here on the program. Bobby Trees from now on.
That's great. Look, it's he's just a good number 2 receiver, and at times last year before he got hurt, it was kind of like Cooper Kupp ended up having this outrageous season, but at times last year it kind of would alternate games even between those two guys in terms of Matthew Stafford targeting and their production. He had some big games. He's just a really good, solid player. So they needed that. And again, this does matter. If you pay attention to the discussion around him, although I obviously missed his nickname, he's universally liked and respected there, and that means something. The Julio Jones stuff was overblown about all his the problematic stuff with him and coaches and all that stuff. It didn't really manifest itself here, at least, but there's nothing like that with Robert Woods, with Bobby Trees.
And he tore his ACL in a practice. So the last game he actually played last year was against the Titans. 7 catches, 98 yards. Before that he had a 3-catch, 35-yard, a touchdown game, 6 catches, 70 the game before that. He had one game last year against the Seahawks where I guess he and Julio Jones have this in common. You can tear up Seahawks. 12 catches, $150 for Robert Woods last year.
No, that's what I was thinking of too when I talked about alternating games. Like Kupp, I don't think did a ton of that game, but I watch it. I think that was a primetime game, wasn't it? And it was just Robert Woods just absolutely torching them all day long. He's good. It's a good pickup. They're better. It's Titans with Hooper and Woods and keeping Ben Jones, cutting Roger Saffold. We'll see what they do with the draft. There's nothing they're going to do in the draft that at the end of the day you're going to look at them and say, okay, that's better than this team with this quarterback in the AFC or this team with this quarterback in the AFC. But it's the whole picture. And the whole picture is I think you're hoping for a elite defense, another step on defense to elite, and then a better offense, and that's going to win you some football games.
Dennis on the text line says, is John Robinson's house completely furnished with scratched and dented / refurbished finds? Apparently, this is a shot at the injured players that John Robinson likes to find.
The injury rate is 100%. Have you not heard this? 100%.
That's right.
Well, you can do. I mean, that's not a bad idea. Do a little bargain shopping. He probably doesn't need to do that anymore, but maybe at one time in his life, you go to a place and get some used furniture. I've bought some nice used couches that maybe a little bit scratched up. You get them for pennies on the dollar. That's just good business.
My brother one time found a couch on the side of the road.
Really?
Picked it up. That was sketchy, but we cleaned it up.
Listen, couches are expensive.
Yeah.
I would do it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Just kidding, actually. I said that, and I'm like, maybe not.
Adulting can be hard.
It can be.
Yes.
I got a texture that says, thoughts on whether they focus on a right tackle or guard in round 1 now. I'd like to see another veteran right tackle added in free agency.
Well, it's possible. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot more activity in free agency from them, but maybe like a depth offensive lineman.
Remember, they have signed Jamarco Jones, so they've gone down that path.
Who is a depth offensive lineman.
Yep.
Yeah. You sign another one? Yeah, probably not. I mean, I think that the offensive line is that's the thing. It just could be your big board, and it's like you're sitting there with a good receiver, but there's one of those offensive guards you love, And again, if you make that pick, let's say that's your pick. And I know TD likes a couple of these guards a lot. If that's your pick, then to me that says Dylan Radunz is going to be your starting right tackle, and that's the plan, and you feel okay about it. I think that has to – I think Dylan Radunz and what they think he is has to be considered in whatever they do in the draft. They won't nail it down.
Sure.
And that's fine. They don't want to put like anything public in terms of expectations on him, but I think we will learn about that based on how they draft.
We'll continue to take your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Getting into another move that the Titans made over the weekend as well. That's next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025, The Game.
Jump in the mind of an NHL veteran as Predators analyst Hal Gill joins Stillman Company Tuesday afternoons at 5:30.
Here they are in a pressure situation every night because they need 2 points.
And Robby and Rexrode Thursday mornings at 9:30.
Goaltending, I think it might be an issue at some point.
Presented by Duncan on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Mucinex presents Trusted Allies of Doctors. Throughout history, doctors have used tools they trust to help them treat your illnesses. But what do they trust when they have a cough and cold? Mucinex, the #1 brand doctors trust.
The 2022 Major League Soccer season is officially here, and the Nashville SC Stadium nearly complete. Don't miss Nashville SC's home opener May 1st. Grab a seat at nashvillesc.com/22ticks.
Nothing makes one feel better than the ability to give to someone in need. You have the power to give the most important gift of all, the gift of life, with a donation of your blood. Supplies are desperately low in our area, and your help is needed. Blood Assurance is a nonprofit community blood center that supplies our Middle Tennessee area hospitals. Please find it in your heart to donate. Be someone's hero today. Go to bloodassurance.org to find a location or blood drive near you. That's bloodassurance.org. Give blood, give local, save lives with Blood Assurance.
Looking for a big diamond? Genesis Diamonds introduces our Elite Collection, all new for this year. These are large, rare diamonds in the top 1% of the world. 3 carat, 4 carat, 5 carat, up to 10 carat precious diamonds for the most discriminating buyers who appreciate quality. Genesis owners travel worldwide, tapping a vast network of diamond cutters, carefully hand-selecting each of these remarkable diamonds. We invite you to view this premium collection of GIA-certified diamonds, rounds, cushion cuts, emerald cuts, even fancy colored diamonds in size and quality never before seen here. And to showcase these exquisite stones, only Genesis has the finest handcrafted rings from all the world-class designers. If 2020 is the year you're upgrading her original diamond, or you just want to go big for the first time, no need to travel to New York or Los Angeles or Antwerp. Genesis Diamonds' elite collection of large, precious diamonds is here in Nashville. Genesis Diamonds and luxury pre-owned Rolexes, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Your home value is way up. You can use that money now to pay off credit cards or remodel your house, or both. Hey, Willie Donner for Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto can convert that home equity into cash as little as 2 weeks from now with no cost to you and zero hassle. Mike and Joan in Brentwood called Loan Pronto and they did a Loan Pronto zero cost cash out refi. They got a check for $100,000. They used $50,000 to pay off all of their credit cards and a car loan. Use the other $50K to upgrade their master bath and kitchen. They locked in a new APR in the 2s and lowered their total monthly bills by hundreds of dollars. Hello? What are you waiting on? Call Loan Pronto now and convert your home value into cash. Put that money to good use. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780 or lowpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans apply.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe of Darren, Donick, and Chase. I started my radio career as an intern right here at ESPN 102.5 The Game. Now we're looking for our next great batch of interns. You think that's you? Send your resume to together@cromwellmedia.com to apply today.
Tuesday night.
Right, 2 for 2 with his 3 ball.
It's an Eastern Conference battle in the NBA.
Quick time drop to Mitchell Robinson.
As the Hawks take on the Knicks. Coverage begins at 6
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck on Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Little Guys Movers. Here's your chance to be your own boss. Join their team of 30-plus years of profits and good times. Visit littleguysfranchise.com. We've got Darren McFarland coming up at 9 o'clock. We'll get his thoughts on NHL trade deadline day, which is today in the National Hockey League. Big win for the Predators over the weekend. We'll see what they do today. Already one move made by the Predators. We'll see how active they are today. Trade deadline at 2 p.m. Central Time. Coming up later today. Right now, taking your thoughts on the Titans on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. William from Madison texting in says, why are the Rams trading Woods for such low value going back to them? It cannot be the salary cap situation because we all know cap is not real. This coming from William on the text line.
That must be it. I don't know.
It does.
It must be that there's no cap considerations at all in the NFL anymore.
I will say, like the return, I was kind of surprised that the draft pick was a 6th-rounder in 2023 for a player as good as Bobby Treese is for the Rams. Now, there has been some reporting that's been done about how much he means to the Rams and, you know, what a difficult thing it was for the Rams to trade him, and they wanted to make sure they, quote, did right by Robert Woods. So I guess the Titans were the right spot that they felt like he wanted to be and that he needed to go to, and so maybe that affected the price on the way back. I don't know.
I mean, look, the bottom line is my understanding anyway is that OBJ is the priority, right?
Yep.
So,
well, and you got Allen Robertson in there now, and you've got Cooper Kupp as well. Like, when they signed Allen Robinson, I was like, oh, boy, okay.
Yeah, so I'm going through, the best reporting on the Rams. Friend of the show, who came on the show at 4 a.m. during Super Bowl week or whatever the heck it was, Jordan Rodriguez has some good reporting on this at The Athletic. One is obviously, not paying through receiver like you said, Allen Robinson. Cooper Kupp's got a big deal coming. So, I mean, he was not in their plans. They are going to get 8.6 dead money hit, but they're still going to save. This is a source who told Jordan this. They're going to save $10 million between cash bonus and cap considerations previously owed to him in 2022. So it's still a financial net gain for them. They're trying to restructure Aaron Donald's deal, and like you said, there's also this is a situation of wanting to do right by him. Could they have done more? Or could they have gotten more? Yes. And they could, again, this is what a source told her. They also want to find, quote, they also wanted to find a good spot for Woods, and the Titans' offense is certainly that. His blocking will unlock even more, and their run game thrives in play-action-heavy offenses. So, right, I mean, I know it's in this league, when we're looking at this Deshaun Watson situation, it's very easy to laugh at anything other than bottom line, hardcore, dollars and cents, wins and losses. But like if you're a good employee for a place and good people run the place, you actually might get rewarded for that, even when they're getting rid of you.
Well, and he signed through his age 33 season, which is in 2025. So, obviously it's an NFL contract, so you can get out of it before then. But he signed until age 33. So if it works out, this could be something where if you're the Titans, this is a multi-year thing with Robert Woods as you move forward here too. Now, I haven't dug into what happens if it doesn't work out and how easy it would be to get out from underneath the contract after next year. But, presumably if he's back and he's healthy and he's the Robert Woods that we've seen the last few years, that's a pretty good receiver for the Titans and something that I would assume they'd be interested in keeping around here for the next little while.
I'm sure that's the plan.
Yeah.
They've been obviously struggling with some of these pickups that they were hoping would be. Well, I mean, Clowney was going to be a 1 year, but after that huge year that he was going to have here, then he was of course going to want to stay here.
Has he signed anywhere yet? By the way, I don't think so.
I have not seen that.
Had a big year last year.
He did. That's going to be
agent.
That's going to be fascinating. What is this year? It's every year. What is the market this year for Jadeveon Clowney? Certainly better than it was last year. And last year he got more than most people thought he would, right?
Yes, he did.
15 mil coming for Clowney? No?
Maybe so. Make some of that Harold Landry money.
I'm actually really fascinated by that now. Okay, oh no, never mind. If you Google like Clowney and like suitors, it's like, here's one from 2020, here's one from 2021.
Yeah, he's free agent every year.
2019. That's going to be interesting. There's still a lot of interesting stuff to go in free agency.
No question about it. The Titans, speaking of free agency, they signed Austin Hooper. Their tight end, I assume their tight end number one that they have moving in to this season. Maybe they find a diamond in the rough in the draft and he blows people away. But Austin Hooper, I would assume, the starting tight end for the Titans now. 1 year, $6 million deal for Austin Hooper at age 27. We talked about this earlier in the show. He had some really productive years at the end of his career with the Falcons, then moves on to the Browns, and production-wise, it was not the same in Cleveland as it was in Atlanta. He was hurt in 2020, so that played a part in it. And then last year, 38 catches, 345 yards, 3 touchdowns. So not eye-popping numbers from Austin Hooper during his time in Cleveland. His last year in Atlanta, he had, this was 2019, 75 catches, 787 yards, 6 touchdowns. I think the Titans would sign up for that right now, obviously. But if you could give me somewhere in between the last year of Cleveland and the last year in Atlanta, I'd probably take that if I'm a Titans fan.
Yeah, and look, a huge question, of course, is what is Austin Hooper as a blocker? Everybody's got a block in this offense. One thing is, of course, if you just understand that he went to Stanford, you can probably feel pretty good about him blocking because Stanford churns out big blocking tight ends just left and right. He was the highest graded, if you want to go by PFF, highest graded blocking tight end with the Browns, so get excited. But seriously, like if you're going to be starting tight end for this offense and team, you got to be good in that way, and he's good in that way. It's what's the production looking like moving forward here? Can he get back to, you hate to keep talking about players who, can he get back to, with the Falcons a few years ago, that production? Remember when he was really good?
Yeah.
Seems like that doesn't work out a lot for the Titans.
But he is 27.
Yeah, he's 27.
A little bit of a difference.
He's 27. He's 6'4", 255, runs a 4.7. He's got all the tools. And if you're going to get someone coming in here, fresh start, motivated to be a starting tight end for a playoff team division championship favorite and want to play his best football, then you could really have a nice value there.
So he's a good blocker. Robert Woods is a good blocker. Still have Nick Westbrook-Akina. Maybe the plan is just run the ball the whole time. We've talked about being great around
the damn ball. They have those T-shirts.
Tannehill cannot throw interceptions when he's not throwing the ball.
That's true. Maybe they could, run the ball and do more read option keepers. Little let Tannehill run the ball a little bit more.
I think I'm reading between the lines here and seeing what may be going on with some of these Titans offseason moves.
Go to the veer. How scary would Derrick Henry be in the veer?
I think very scary.
But hey, blocking and tackling, it's a simple game. You know? I mean, the thing is, in all seriousness, with this Titans roster right now, I mean, they do have the potential to be special on defense.
Yep.
It's that one cornerback spot that you have to wonder about, you know. But you did spend a first-round pick to address that a year ago. So if that were to work out, you know, the defense is going to give them a chance, I think, most weeks. And I think you get into the playoffs, and the defense is what you start with, what you hang your hopes on. It's what almost won you your last playoff game, even with your quarterback soiling himself.
Glenn on the text line says, I say bring in Delaney Walker as a tight end coach to help elevate that position. What do you think about that?
Yes.
Well, this is different from last year. Last year, people wanted to bring him in as a player. Now I can bring him in as a coach.
Why not a player coach?
Well, I don't know.
I mean,
look, I feel like if Delaney Walker wanted to, he could be a good tight end coach.
Sure. Yeah, no doubt. I think that often works out.
I wondered what would the first Delaney Walker text we got this year, what it would be. I didn't anticipate coach, so I'm glad Glenn went there. That's better than what I thought it would be.
You said it's Glenn?
Yeah.
All right. Delaney Walker has to be involved somehow. He must be involved with it. Why not, assistant GM or something?
Hey, I'm sure he could do a good job at that too.
Yeah.
Just give him all the responsibility.
There are tight ends who have become great GMs. Ozzie Newsome.
Yep.
By the way. Great Browns tight end.
Hey, it's worth a shot, man. Real quickly on the Deshaun Watson stuff. Signing the guaranteed deal with Cleveland. That does mean Baker Mayfield's going to be traded. Matt Ryan may be traded, according to Ian Rappaport earlier today. Falcons have been fielding trade calls the last couple of days on Matt Ryan, and today is the deadline to make a decision. Matt Ryan earns a $7.5 million roster bonus if he's on the roster at 4 o'clock today. I guess that's 4 o'clock Eastern time. So it'll either be a trade or back to Atlanta. We think Matt Ryan gets traded today, and what do we think happens with Baker Mayfield? A lot of people connecting the Baker Mayfield dots to the Colts, although I saw Stephen Holder tweet a few minutes ago.
Yep.
That's not necessarily a slam dunk.
Well, and Holder tweeted, by the way, don't sleep on Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
So there's a great, that's a good poll question. Maybe I should make that my second poll question I've ever done on Twitter. If you're a Titans fan, rank your preferred quarterbacks for the Colts. Jimmy G, Baker Mayfield, Matt Ryan. Who would you most like to see them have and least like to see them have?
Yeah.
Throw the poll out there, Joe.
I'd be interested to know what sort of the response that is.
How about, you know what? I will. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it right
Please
Big day
now.
here.
Coming up next, it's time for Preds Pick to Click, brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka. The Predators in action tonight. West Coast out there for the Preds tonight. Be caller number 1, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. The first caller will have an opportunity to guess a goal scorer for the Nashville Predators. If you get it right, you'll win a pair of tickets to a future Preds home game. That's next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025, The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Looking at increasing clouds today, we'll still see a fair amount of sunshine, and it'll be a warm day with a high temperature of 73 degrees this afternoon.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey Nashville, it's Jared, and there's a new go-to for home furnishing. Social Furniture on the West Side is independently home-owned furniture store in Nashville. Forget the big box stores. Shop local, shop social. They have all the best brand mattresses, sofas, recliners, love seats, sectionals, coffee tables, and more with no waiting. They will deliver it the same day. That's with everything at Social Furniture. Enjoy new furniture now with no waiting. Shop local, shop social. 5412 Charlotte Avenue near White Bridge Road, and tell them Jared Stillman sent you.
It's hockey time in Smashville. Join us at Bridgestone Arena on March 27th and 29th to watch your Nashville Predators take on Eastern Conference competitors, the Philadelphia Flyers, and Ottawa Senators. Single game tickets are on sale now at NashvillePredators.com/tickets. Be there for some of the biggest games of the season. It's your Preds taking on the Flyers and Senators this week in Smashville. Don't miss the next golden moment. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets to get your seat today.
Hey, Darren McFarland here. I want to tell you about this new social sports betting app I've been loving called Wager, W-A-G-R. Rather than betting against the house, Wager lets you bet with other people in Tennessee. It can be your friends, coworkers, or even me. As a special promo for ESPN 1025 The Game listeners, if you're over 21, go to wager.me/DMAC, and you'll get free wagers that you can use to challenge me. That's WAGR.me/DMAC. Join me and challenge your community, not the house. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-889-9789 for help.
Zines First is the official sign company for 1025 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 11 Pro and get an easy start to your workday. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. Again, that's 877-ASK-DELL.
A show that doesn't pull any punches.
And they win a playoff game and they get to the divisional round and he doesn't give up a sack the rest of the year. I don't give two poops. I'm done.
And has an opinion on everything.
That ref crew that was just terrible. Threw flags on almost every possession.
Jared Stillman hosts Stillman and Company.
Tough guy. He's a really tough guy.
Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6. Delivered by TriStar Moving on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Robby Rexrode is on ESPN 1025 The Game.
Curve on front and the score! Who's going to find the back of the net in tonight's Preds game? Robby and Rexrode make their picks to click and welcome a listener to do the same. Pick to Click is brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka, the official vodka of the NHL.
And it is that time of the day here on Robby and Rexrode. Time for Preds Pick to Click, brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka. The Preds in action tonight, taking on the Anaheim Ducks on the road. Puck drop at 9 o'clock, pregame at 8 o'clock here on ESPN 1025 The Game. Ducks in sell mode, by the way. They sell off Lindholm over the weekend. He signs an 8-year, $6.5 million annual average value with the Boston Bruins. So Anaheim has waved the white flag at this point. We'll see if the Predators can take advantage of that tonight on NHL trade deadline day here on Monday.
It was a nice little run, Ducks. It was kind of fun for a while, right?
It was. And then it came to
And there you go. Sell away.
The standings in Preds Pick to Click are as such. The listeners still in first place with 15 correct answers. Rexrode in second with 14. Michelle and I on the board in the last game. That puts me at 12, Michelle at 9. So the competition heating up as we go down the stretch here.
It's not bad.
Not
bad at all.
Let's go to our 1025 The Game phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com and welcome in today's participant, Josh from Franklin. Josh, what's going on? How are we doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
We're great. Appreciate you taking time to be with us. Josh, who is your pick to click tonight for the Nashville Predators as they take on the Ducks?
Matt Duchene.
There you go. Josh, we appreciate you taking time to call in.
Appreciate it.
So Duchene, the selection by Josh, who did score in the last game. Forsberg scored in the last game as well. Joe Rexrode, you're up first in the competition among us today. Duchene off the board. Who is your pick to click?
Yeah, Josh, you really should have thought more about that one. There's a lot of possibilities. The Preds just acquired a new player. You know, there's a lot of things you could look at here. Okay, so the trading deadline is time?
2 o'clock today, Central Time.
2 Central.
Yep.
Yeah. So 6 hours. Let's say about 6 hours after that. 6 hours and 17 minutes after that, Philip Forsberg will celebrate not being traded with a nice goal for me. Thank you, Philip.
There you go. So Joe Rexrode predicting Philip Forsberg, still a member of the Nashville Predators tonight as they take on the Anaheim Ducks.
I mean, that's the thing. Me picking Forsberg, does that increase the chances he gets traded? I don't know.
Also, don't ever say you don't ever pick first. Sir.
Yeah.
Finally. What's it been, months?
Took the whole year. Duchesne and Forsberg off the board. Michelle Knezovic, your pick to click tonight for the Nashville Predators.
Well, I had the same thought process as Joe. I'm thinking trade deadline today, but I think Rexrode just jinxed it. And I'm going to go back to my roots. I think he's had a little turn in his season with the switching up of the lines. Ryan Johansson is going to score tonight.
There you go.
And get on the board and help me beat you guys in pick to click.
I like it. Johansson, the selection.
All one line.
Give me the captain.
All one line.
I'm going defenseman. Give me the captain. By the way, 3 assists for Roman Josi in the last game. So his last 3 games, his last 4 games. 4 assists, 3 assists, 3 assists, 3 assists. Or 4 points, 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. It's unbelievable.
How many 100-point defensemen have not won the Norris?
I'm sure it's happened because those points used to come around a little bit often, more back in the 80s, but
there can't be that many, right?
But man,
he's
on a roll right now.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. They scored the first 2 goals of the game the other night, and I was like, wow, scoring a couple without Josi, huh? What's going on here? And then he tacks on 3 towards the end of the game.
Sure.
Actually, I think his first 3 goals of the game, nothing.
But he still hasn't scored a goal in a while. So maybe this is good timing on your part.
Yeah. We'll see. This has been Preds Pick to Click, brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka. Preds have made a move at the deadline. We'll get into the NHL trade deadline coming up here in just a few minutes with Darren McFarland. It was a big win for the Predators over the weekend as well. They win 6-3 against Toronto. Philip Forsberg breaks the franchise goal-scoring record held by David Legwand at 210 goals. Forsberg gets his 211th of his career on Saturday against Toronto. Cool moment in that game. Crowd recognizing Forsberg, gave him a standing ovation when that was announced in the arena. He kind of waved up and looked at the crowd. It was a nice moment in Bridgestone Arena. And then the crowd broke out into a Philip Forsberg, re-signed Forsberg chant.
He waved?
Oh, he waved.
Was he waving goodbye? What did it mean?
I don't know. He had a smile on his face.
Maybe he should have.
Just cold-hearted. Yeah, we'll see you later.
I mean, maybe he should have just done a tip of the cap or thumbs up. Not something that could be perceived as saying goodbye.
Maybe.
I mean, someone had to have freaked out, right?
You want to change your pick?
You are freaking out, Joe.
I'll let you do it.
Well, no, because he's not going to get traded, but it just means he's going to sign with someone else. But he'll score goals galore before he signs with the Rangers in the offseason.
Yeah. The re-sign, I don't know that I've ever heard a re-sign player X chant in the middle of a game at Bridgestone Arena before.
Re-sign Forsberg.
That's what it was for about the entire third period in that game. And the guy, I saw, the guy that started it, they had been trying to start it all game. And where they were in relation to the press box, I could hear them, but it never really got going until the third period. And the people who started it, I guess they must know where David Poile sits, because he's looking right at David Poile the whole time as he's yelling the chant out. Just re-sign Forsberg, and then the whole arena got in on it.
What was Poile doing?
I couldn't see Poile.
That's why we can't really see it from we can't see him. We know where he sits.
Poile waving to him too. Forsberg's waving down on the bench. Poile's waving to this guy.
Double middles.
Maybe he's cheering too. Maybe Poile's in on the chant.
Maybe.
Yeah, that could be. Give him a no movement clause.
Doesn't quite have the same ring to it.
Oh, good times.
Well, it was. Big goal for Forsberg the other night. Matt Duchesne scores the 5th one of the game for the Predators. And by the way, Tanner Jeannot picking another corner, 21st of the year. That guy's he's really good. I don't think he's gonna reach 30 this year.
But
he'll be mid-20s, mid to high 20s,
which is about 20 goals more than anyone had guessed. So yeah.
No, I mean it's a big win for them. And look, I said this after the game, and I got some flack from this. But that's okay. I think the game the other night was a perfect example of why I think they can be dangerous in the playoffs. You got a really good team in Toronto. I get it. Toronto is not a juggernaut defensively, although they did just trade for Mark Giordano, so we'll see how that helps them. But they've got Matthews and Marner and Tavares, all these different guys out there, Nylander. And I thought for the most part, the Predators did a really good job on those guys. Now, they got their looks, and Matthews got a goal on a play where Saros made an unbelievable save, and then Matthews got to the rebound and scored on that play. But, Marner, Matthews score. They had the puck for the last 4 minutes of the game with the extra attacker, and the Predators didn't give him anything. Like, I just thought when they commit to playing that way defensively and their goaltender is who he is, and he played really well on Saturday, they're a dangerous team. Like, with Forsberg and Duchesne playing the way they are, nobody wants to play the Predators in the playoffs. I'm not saying that I would pick them to win. Like, I would not pick them to beat Colorado, and I probably wouldn't pick them to beat Calgary. But that game Saturday was a good reminder to me of why I think they can be pretty tough out in the playoffs, regardless of who their opponent is.
Yeah. I mean, if what you do lends itself to how playoff games are typically played, I think that's an advantage. And certainly you can find plenty of teams that don't play traditional playoff hockey who have had tons of success. They're just too freaking good, right? But I think the Preds style works. I mean, what would we, when you look back at like Montreal last year, what was that about? I mean, it was about just absolute randomness of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah.
But that's how they had to play. Great goaltending. Yep. I mean, it's no guarantee of anything. The Preds are probably going to start on the road in the playoffs, but I agree. I mean, there's nobody in this conference that to me it'd be 50-50 in any series other than against Colorado, and I'd be very interested to see this team in a playoff series against Colorado with all the pressure Colorado has to not duplicate last year. Now, Colorado, you tell me they're going to win the Cup this year,
okay,
I can see that. This may be like their year, like Tampa Bay had after their big disappointment, finally breaking through. But also, they could be vulnerable to a team like the Predators.
Predators have made one move. They acquired Jeremy Lauzon from the Seattle Kraken, and I hope I'm saying that right. I'm going by the pronunciation guide. It's just what it's telling me to say. Jeremy Lauzon.
I've also Googled it. I think you're correct.
I mean, I can't pretend that I'm overly familiar with Lauzon and the way that he plays. I have looked at some analytic charts. He's 24 years old. He'll be 25 here in a few weeks. He's played for the Kraken this year, 53 games, 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points. Obviously, he's not an offensive guy. He's got 17 points in 129 career games at the NHL. But you think about maybe a third pairing guy. The price is what gets me. They gave up a second-round pick in order to get him, and I just think that's way too high. Like, I get it. He's a restricted free agent, so technically he could be under your control for a while here, and you could have him for a while, which is different and does change the price from him being a rental player. I understand that, but like, to me, he's been kind of below average player at the NHL level so far. I'm not giving up a second rounder for him. So the Predators must really like him.
So if they re-sign him, and let's say he's a stalwart as a third-pairing defenseman over the next few seasons for the Preds, does that justify a second-round pick?
I don't know, man. Like, you're talking about a third-pairing guy.
Like, does he have to be a top 4 guy at some point to validate?
If you told me right now that he would be a good third defensive pairing player for the next 2-3 years, then maybe I could listen to it. Because, like, not all your second-rounders turn into Roman Josi. Sometimes your second-rounders turn into Jeremy Lauzon. So I understand that. That seems like a heavy price to pay for that guy.
Yeah. I mean, look at, like, the Yarncroke compensation. I feel like draft picks are really flying around left and right so far. See more to that today, I guess.
Coming up next, we'll be joined by Darren McFarland from Darren, Donick, and Chase. We'll get his thoughts on the Predators as NHL trade deadline day is today. What will the Predators do with Philip Forsberg? We'll get into that next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Take us wherever you may go.
There are 2 guys on my untouchable list.
Shoot us in anywhere, anytime.
Every team's got those. That's my point.
Just search The Game Nashville in your app store and download today. And keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
High flying at Memorial. This is the Commodore Report. I'm Kevin Ingram. Vanderbilt men's basketball advances again in the National Invitation Tournament, holding off top seed Dayton 70-68 in an overtime thriller at Memorial Gym Sunday afternoon. The big guys continued to deliver for Vandy. Liam Robbins scored the go-ahead basket with 33 seconds left in OT and then blocked a shot to preserve the win. Scottie Pippen Jr. scored a game-high 32 with many contributors and another loud crowd.
Had to ask for the whole team. Liam making big plays on the stretch, Q making big plays, Jordan big shot. Rodney's whole team, so he had to get back at them. So a great all-around effort by the whole team.
Pippen played 43 of the 45 minutes and recording his fourth 30-point game of the season. The game had 8 ties and 13 lead changes. It's the 19th win for the Commodores, who will play at Xavier next for a spot in the NIT semifinals in New York. Vanderbilt women's basketball plays at home tonight against Liberty in the WNIT after winning the first postseason game of the Shea Ralph era in a blowout against Murray State last week. 7 o'clock tip-off tonight. The winner of that game plays the winner of Middle Tennessee State and Wake Forest. Meanwhile, next door at Hawkins Field, 4th-ranked Vanderbilt baseball opens SEC play with a sweep of Missouri 7-4 Sunday to run the win streak to 16 games. The Vandy boys had to come from behind, scoring 4 runs in the 7th, including back-to-back home runs by Tate Kolwick and Carter Young. Nelson Berkwich got the win in relief. Thomas Schultz recorded the last 5 outs for his 4th save. Vandy is scheduled to play Belmont on Tuesday at First Horizon Park. That is the Commodore Report on 102.5 The Game at ESPN 94.9.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture eats strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with 3-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best Award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
A Cromwell media station.
It's Robby and Rexrode with Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in. Final hour of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game, brought to you by Little Guys Movers. Here's your chance to be your own boss. Join their team of 30-plus years of profits and good times. Visit littleguysfranchise.com. Robby Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode and Michelle Knezovic. Intern Nick here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. NHL trade deadline day today. And we welcome in our friend Darren McFarland, host of Darren, Donick, and Chase. Also handles the pre- and post-game duties for the Nashville Predators radio network. Darren, what's going on? How are we doing?
Good morning, Robby. It's a beautiful Monday here in Middle Tennessee.
It is a very beautiful Monday here in
No
Middle
complaints.
Tennessee.
Yeah, it's nice. Big day.
It's a big day. We'll get to the trade deadline part of it here in just a few minutes. Just starting with your thoughts on the game itself for the Predators on Saturday night. Big win against the Maple Leafs. Philip Forsberg becomes the franchise leader in goals with 211 career goals, him scoring the 4th goal of the game. What did you think of the game itself, the win against Toronto, and what did you think of that moment for Forsberg setting that record at home in front of the home fans?
Well, obviously it was good all around, right? It was good on many fronts. Like you said, well said. He got to do it in front of the home crowd. That was cool, and that was for everybody in that building on Saturday night. They'll remember that, right? And I talked to a lot of fans after the game that they were so pumped that they were there to see it on Saturday night, and that's something that's a story you'll have, right, for the rest of your life, and that's really cool. The other part of this is it was a nice bounce back from the loss in Philadelphia, right? It was not a good game in Philadelphia. Even though they came back and took the lead in the 3rd period early on with Philip Forsberg's 32nd goal of the season, they had their first period, they were damn lucky they were just down a goal. It was one of the worst first periods I've seen in a while. Their second period wasn't much better, even though they scored 3 goals. It still wasn't a great period. And then they didn't pick up any points and they lost 5-4. Claude Giroux's last ever game, at least this season, in a Flyers uniform. We know he would go on to get traded from the Panthers. Robby, we talked about that Saturday night at Patron Platinum Club in pregame, but it was a nice bounce back. And let me just say this from my observation coming up to postgame with me. Tanner Jeannot is becoming a rock star in this town. Man, the fans love them some Tanner Jeannot, man. He came up and that place was rocking. Just, when he left, my little glass house And when he walked out, man, it was an eruption of the fans. They were, Tanner! He went over there, signed stuff. He's becoming a fan favorite, and you could see why. Everybody, it's like Jordan Tutu, right? But Jordan Tutu with the scoring punch, right? With the offensive. Everybody loved Jordan Tutu because of what he brought to the table, his hits, just brought the energy and just everything that he did. He quickly became a fan favorite because I think a lot of fans can relate to those blue-collar guys. But this guy is a blue-collar guy with a hard hat and 21 goals on the season, and quite honestly, I believe should be Rookie of the Year. I don't know if he's going to win it or not, but should be the Rookie of the Year. But those were my takeaways from Saturday night. And yes, it was awesome to see Forsberg break the record. And by the way, he did it in 546 games. Yeah. Not bad, considering Legwand did it. Nothing against Legwand, but he did it in almost double the games.
Okay, so what do you think about the deal David Poile just made? That seems like an awfully high price. And what do you think we're going to see today, Darren?
Well, Joe, I can't say that I'm surprised because I said all last week, and I'm pretty sure when we talked about the trading deadline, which is today, that I said I would not be very active if I was David Poile, other than a depth piece at defense. And that's exactly what they did. So I can't say that I'm surprised. The writing was on the wall, right? I mean, they played Matt Tennyson and Jeremy Davies. They brought him up from Milwaukee and played him Saturday night. It was pretty clear the writing was on the wall, and to me it just was pointing at, again, all signs pointing at them getting another defenseman because, yeah, they love Borowiecki and Benning when they're in there. Both of them are hurt right now, and the way Borowiecki plays, it's pretty scary to think that, you feel really confident he'll be available because of the style that he plays. He drops the mitts, he fights, he sacrifices his body by blocking shots, he lays a ton of hits, he plays a very, very physical game, and at his age, and I know this all too well, I tore my ACL doing jump squats. It's pretty pathetic, but, things start breaking down the older you get. It gets tougher, and, if you don't have him in there, they had to go out and get somebody else, somebody with some NHL experience. And is that how you guys feel, that it may have been a little bit steep? I mean, he doesn't have a ton of NHL. I guess the last 2 years he's played a pretty significant amount of NHL games, but is that what you guys feel? It was probably a little steep?
That price is really high.
Yeah.
Let
me ask you guys something, though. Calle Jarnkrok, a second, a third, and whatever the other pick was for Calle Jarnkrok. Again, nothing against Calle Jarnkrok, but to me, I was like, whoa, really? So I guess I'm not too surprised considering it looks like the price tags were pretty high.
So, Darren, today's the day. We've been talking about this for basically since October with Philip Forsberg and everything that's gone down there. You see he breaks the record the other night. Obviously, he's having a phenomenal year. He's 1 goal away from tying the single-season goals record for the Predators at 34. What do we think happens today? Do we think anything happens today with Philip Forsberg? Be that a trade or be that a contract for Philip Forsberg today? Because I tend to think the most likely outcome today is he is not signed to the Predators, but he is also not traded.
Yeah. I obviously feel the same way. I've been pretty consistent with my message that as much as I think everybody wants, and I get fans get caught up in, the excitement and the season that he's having. I understand all that. But when I see people like, just give the man whatever he wants, it's like, no, just stop it. Okay, that's not how it works. This is still a business. And you know what? 4 years from now, 3 years from now, whenever they're strapped for cash because they just gave him whatever he wanted, you'll be the first one screaming, why don't you go get this player? And why don't you get that player? And David Poile will say, well, because I don't have any money to do that. Because you said go give him whatever he wants. That's not how it works. It's a business. And maybe it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek on social media, but no, this is a business. And does David Poile and the Predators, do they want Philip Forsberg back for under an 8-year max contract? I suspect the answer is 100% yes. Does Philip Forsberg want to be back here? I suspect that it's yes. But it's not. This is still a business, and he's having a career year, and so he has a lot of leverage. The Predators also have leverage, too, that we've talked about. We don't need to go through the steps again, right? They can give him 1 more year. This state doesn't have income tax. We all know all the boxes that David Poile and the Predators can check. But it's still a business. And yes, Philip Forsberg's a fan favorite too, and he's an important piece. But no, giving him whatever he wants is not the answer. We've had the Matt Duchene and Ryan Johansson and Kyle Turris and how many other of those stories that we've, storylines and narratives that we've talked about forever and ever and ever. So no, I don't want to go down that path again. Do you guys? I don't. I don't want to be talking about somebody's contract. How about just get a nice contract both sides can live with? And let's get on with it. That's the way I feel about it. Like I hate always talking about somebody being overpaid or not living up to their contract. Like, no, just how about let's come to a good, right number that I think we've all talked this through so much. I think it's going to end up probably around 8.5, somewhere around there. I think probably Forsberg's camp has been in the 9s. I think the Predators and David Poile has been probably in the high 7s, maybe low 8s, and let's come together at 8.5, 8.75, and let's get on with it.
I feel like we should do an entire station. Just we volunteer ourselves as mediators here.
I'll get in there.
Someone's got to get in there and shake things up. So speaking of deals, Darren, what do you think of the Titans' moves here? Austin Hooper, Robert Woods.
I mean, I really like the Austin Hooper. I said last week, okay, go get that guy. And I know things for whatever reason weren't very good last couple, but I like the move. They need to address that position. The Robert Woods, I know everybody's going to say the same thing because I've seen all this chatter, and I get it. Look, it's fair. It's not unfair to say, is John Robinson in love with injured guys? He seems to sign or draft injured guys a lot. I get it. It also drives down there. I mean, they gave up nothing for Robert. Robert Woods, when healthy, is another number one receiver. I get it. He's coming off ACL, and he's been out. He spent half the season, the final half of the season and the entire playoffs out. But Robert Woods is a really, really good receiver. So on one hand, I like it. They gave up nothing to get him. But on the other hand, I do understand the chatter of, my goodness, when's he going to be available? Half the team, it seems like, is never available until October. So I do get that. I think it's fair. But overall, Joe, I would give it a really good – I'd give it a B+. I'd give it a B+, those two moves. They address two things they desperately need, right?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
And they didn't give up much to get them, I don't think.
By the way, I'm trying to figure out how much of a troll I want to be here, but I'm just gonna do it. There has been a Forsberg extension announced in the NHL. It's just not Philip.
Oh, look at you.
Anton Forsberg announcing a 3-year, $2.75 million extension.
You should have made that a teaser.
I really thought about going over the top with it, but I feel like that would make a lot of people mad, so I don't want to do that.
That would have been a killer tease.
For a few seconds, I was like, my gosh.
And we know teases are very important.
We do.
That's right.
There's no question about it. Darren, we appreciate you taking time to join us today. Darren McFarland joins us every Monday morning at 9 o'clock here on the program. You can hear him from 10 to 2 every day on Darren, Dodick, and Chase. Darren, great stuff, buddy.
Hey, guys, keep them wanting more these final 50 minutes.
We will.
Just bring it.
Don't worry. We're going to make sure that happens.
Well, if someone may have clicked on right now, we're going to talk maybe a little bit more about this Forsberg extension on the other side. What do you say?
That's right.
I can't wait to hear what these guys have to say about this Forsberg extension.
Darren, appreciate you.
Robbie, Joe, thanks, man.
We'll continue the conversation. Welcome more of your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025, The Game.
Every Wednesday, it's me, Jared Stillman, against Joe Rexrode for Jared versus Joe. Brought to you by Parman Tractor and Equipment. Visit ParmanTractor.com, your Middle Tennessee link belt and Takeuchi dealer.
Victory Award-winning New Amsterdam Vodka knows all about it. But in life, it's not always so clear. So New Amsterdam Vodka believes that in life, you've got to find your own wins. You've got to overcome your fears, go all in, even when you've got nothing at all. Find your wins. And when you do, raise that glass of New Amsterdam Vodka in victory. You've earned it. New Amsterdam Spirits Company, Modesto, California.
The Metal Gods return. Judas Priest, 50 heavy metal years. The Priest. This Wednesday night, Nashville Municipal Auditorium. Vengeance will be theirs with special guest Queensryche. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com. Judas Priest. Live.
Men, what if I told you that now you're able to get testosterone replacement therapy in the comfort of your own home? No more weekly trips to the doctor's office. We come to you 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Be seen by a licensed medical professional in the privacy and comfort of your own home or office. You decide. Schedule your appointment today at CoolSpringsMDformen.com.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
Looking to score with a Delta 8? Meet your new one-stop shop for anything and everything Delta 8. D8 Superstore has Delta 8 vapes, gummies, dabs, flour, and more. Backed by their years of extensive product research and testing, they offer the best prices, selection, and quality on the market. Get free shipping on every order with customer support that responds in minutes. So don't wait. Try their Delta 8. Shop with us at d8superstore.com.
Welcome to Allstate, where saving on your auto insurance is kind of like a joyride. You, your car, and an open Tennessee road. Maybe your best friend, too. The music is chill, and so is the traffic. You and your friend both look over at each other, and then he puts his head back out the window. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Allstate and affiliates offer products and services subject to availability, terms, and conditions.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Robby and Rexrode on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
Broken stick down on the ice, belonging to Mitchell Marner, evidently. Down on the left wing corner, Ryan Johansson. Johansson to the blue line. Yossi for Duchesne. Duchesne to the side of the net. Forsberg tried to shove it in front to score! Philip Forsberg becomes the Predators' all-time leading goal scorer with that one. And, folks, you get a Frosty.
Big night for Philip Forsberg the other night. The Predators win 6-3 against Toronto, and he becomes the all-time leading goal scorer in the history of the Nashville Predators. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Make sure you go to thegamenashville.com/deals to check out Nashville's best deals. Right now, there are deals from everything half off to Bavarian Beer House, the Woodhouse Spa, the Mainstay and Hard Rock Cafe, Brooklyn Bowl, plus $50 free with a purchase of $100 in downtown dollars. Check out all of Nashville's best deals now at thegamenashville.com/deals. It is deadline day in the NHL, Joe Rexrode. Philip Forsberg, still a member of the Predators. He has not signed an extension as of yet. What do we think happens today? Because I still think the most likely outcome is he is not signed to an extension, and he is also not traded, which I know lots of Predator fans will be okay with. There will be some, though, that say, how in the world could you risk losing this guy for nothing if he's not signed to a contract extension by the end of the day? I'm very interested to see how this goes with the Predators, and I'm not ruling out that they could get him signed by the end of the day today, but if I had to put my percentage chance on that happening right now, I would go maybe low 20s, high teens. That happens today?
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea, but Elliot Friedman seems to be the one person out there really who's getting some sourced information on the negotiations, and doesn't sound like they're necessarily close. Sometimes negotiations can be really far away, and boom, in an hour, all of a sudden you figure it out. I guess there'd be obviously a lot more motivation for the Preds to get it done today than Forsberg, just because, I mean, I guess just so you don't have to hear about it after the deadline, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if you get it done today or, April 19th.
Yeah.
if you get it done. But if you get it done before today ends, then you can avoid the, oh my God, David Poile, what have you done? Which, I don't know. I don't know what percentage of Preds fans feel that way. I think if you are pessimistic about this particular team's chances to do anything in the postseason, don't really see how this core group is going to contend in the near future, then you'd be more likely to be upset about not trading Forsberg and getting assets and not putting yourself at risk. But if you feel good about those things, then you got to understand. I mean, I think that you probably are fine with this, but I think everybody needs to understand, like from Poile's perspective, and I would do the same thing. Given what this team has done this year and how he's performed, how Duchesne's performed, and everything, where they are, I don't think you can do to that locker room what it would do to move Forsberg right now. Maybe that's too little picture of a view for some people, but I think the only way you could do that is if you knew 100% Philip Forsberg will be somewhere else next year. You're getting nothing for him. You're not signing him. You're getting nothing for him. You know this 100%. Okay, well, then you may have to do that to your people. Ultimately, I think they're going to get a deal done with Forsberg.
I think they are too, and I think even if that's not today, I think they'll get a deal done. There is risk, though, and we talk about this. I mean, I was thinking of the Freddie Freeman situation, right? I mean, he wanted to be back in Atlanta. I don't think there's any question about it. And they played hardball in the contract. Then all of a sudden the Braves moved on, and he was gone. He was in free agency. Like, the closer you get to free agency, the more dangerous it becomes. And once he gets there, like, let's say they don't have a deal done that's in place by free agency. Yeah, he could still come back when he gets to the open market, but once he gets there, I mean, all bets are off. So I understand, like, the nervousness of if today comes and goes and he's not signed to a contract extension. There's no guarantee that he's coming back if he gets through today and the contract extension's not reached. Now, I still believe it will be. I think he wants to be here. I think eventually they'll nail down a number that gets it done. So I don't know that I would necessarily panic today if I'm a Predators fan and he's not signed. But there is going to be risk that comes along with that. If you're David Poile, though, to your point, like, I'm looking around that locker room right now, especially with the way that Forsberg and Duchesne are playing together. Like, what is this team if he's not there? It's not very good. I mean, they've got some good pieces. Yossi's obviously an elite player. Duchesne's playing well. I'd have to think if Duchesne's not playing with Forsberg, that changes his production. As in the same way it would be this year if Forsberg not playing with Duchesne. Like, I think they've been a really good match together. And I get it. If you're a general manager, sometimes your job is to remove yourself from the emotion of the situation, and you've got to make the best business decisions both in the short term and the long term. I just can't envision them trading him right now with the way he's playing. Like, he's about to reach 40 goals this year, and he may do it in 2 weeks at the rate he's on right now.
Yeah, I mean, load up on picks. Get all the picks you can. Get prospects too. And if any of them turn out to be as good as him, then you've hit the lottery. I mean, really. Like, yeah. I'm not saying you've hit like the Mega Millions, like one in an extremely, extremely, extremely remote chance. But
yeah, he's not Austin Matthews. I think we understand that.
Yeah, but chances are, very good that you will not find him again in all these assets that you get back. It's one player, and that could be that could be a good haul. But it comes down to, do you believe that this? I mean, it's funny. You think back to keeping the group together, right? After the President's Trophy, after losing to Winnipeg, and they kind of did it again for the most part after 19, and now they've cut away most of it. But you still have, Forsberg, Josi, Johansson, that core, and then you add to it, and now, I mean, is this Matt Duchesne now? If this is Matt Duchesne here for the next couple years, then you actually will have some room. Even with making this deal, you could be really good. If you believe that with Saros as your goaltender, then I think it'd be outrageous to move Forsberg. If you're convinced that this is just going to be a middling team with those guys, well, then I think we're going to find out, because I think Forsberg's going to be here.
Jim on the text line says, which side has more leverage tomorrow if the Preds don't re-sign Forsberg? today. I mean, it would still be Forsberg, I guess. I mean, bottom line is if he wants to be here, which I think he does, I think he's going to give the Predators every opportunity to come to a deal. Now, that doesn't mean he's just going to take anything they throw out there at him, because I think
clearly
there have been plenty of times in the past where athletes have wanted to be somewhere, but they just don't get the deal they feel like they deserve and they move on. Like, I'm not saying that's not going to happen with Philip Forsberg, but I genuinely believe he wants to be here, and I think he will give the Predators every opportunity to come to a deal. Now, if you get through today, I think the urgency kicks up a little bit if you're David Poile and the Predators. It has to.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's very much about what you said just today and in the past too, but I mean, I think it's pretty clear. Forsberg wants to be here, and that's really important. So he can have leverage, but if you believe that, then that's why you hang in there and you keep going until you figure it out, right? Again, like the only way to me that as things progress the way they have the last few weeks on the ice and they're in a good position again, that it was going to be any kind of possibility was if it just all broke down completely and you just had an idea or a strong idea that he was just going to look for another place. That's not the case, and of course now Poile just made a trade, which I think is way too high a cost for a third pairing defenseman. But you do that, you tell everybody 100%. You're not trading Forsberg. You're buying for this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be really surprised if they traded him at this point. Now, the question is, are they going to do anything else? Like, are they buying anything else today? I guess I would be surprised if it's anything of consequence. Like, if they got a low-cost depth forward or a low-cost depth defenseman in addition to the one they've already made, and I guess I wouldn't be overly surprised by that. But, like, if you're David Poile, do you get in the mix for somebody that maybe we're not thinking about right now? I don't know. How do you, like, if he does that, it tells me he's pretty either bullish on this team or he's like, well, I guess we'll see what happens with Forsberg riding this thing out.
I mean, you never know. You never know. I can't imagine there'd be much done. I thought there was a real chance that he would just totally stand pat. But, I mean, look, you've been talking for a while about the need to improve the depth on the blue line. So they've done that at a cost.
I don't know a ton about Lozon, the guy that they brought in. I've watched him play a couple of times, but I'm not sitting here studying film on him or anything.
But the analytics are not
great. Are not good. Now, he also plays for the Kraken, so that's something to keep in mind on that part of it, too.
Yeah.
They don't have the puck very much.
That's a fair point.
We'll continue to take your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll get into the Rick Barnes conversation. Another disappointing end for Tennessee this season in the NCAA tournament. How do Vols fans feel about Rick Barnes? Hit up our text line, 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025, The Game.
Hey, this is Roman Yossi, and this is Smash Row.
Going to the front of the net, he scores. What a gorgeous move. Roman Yossi.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 1025 The Game.
The 2022 Major League Soccer season is officially here, and Nashville SC's new home, Geodis Park, is nearly complete. Don't miss Nashville SC's home opener May 1st. Secure your season tickets now. Come on and grab a seat at NashvilleSC.com/22ticks.
The racing, the big one, the camping, it's all just bigger at Talladega. And with a doubleheader on Saturday and the premiere of the next-gen cars on Sunday, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. NASCAR's biggest and baddest track is back. The Talladega NASCAR Weekend, April 23rd through the 24th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Jim Gaffigan Live in the Fun Tour.
When you have kids, you lie to them all the time. You're like, you wouldn't like this ice cream. It's very spicy.
March 30th, Bridgestone Arena. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Outback Presents.
At Genesis Diamonds, it's not just a new year.
It's a new opportunity to bring you more choices, more value, more ways to celebrate your love. So we've expanded our selection of exquisite hand-picked diamonds from a half carat to 15 carats, all shapes, all sizes, all at our famous no middleman prices. We've brought in even more exclusive designer jewelry, new cutting-edge fashion-forward rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and pendants. We have the styles and looks on every woman's wish list, things you can't find anywhere else. And for 2022, Genesis is now offering a truly spectacular collection of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. We have all the most popular styles in stock with no wait list and no restrictions. Is this the year you reward yourself with a premier name and timepieces? Come to Genesis in 2022 and let our non-commissioned experts help you celebrate those important milestones. We guarantee the best value, the highest quality, and the strongest warranties and guarantees in the jewelry industry. Genesis Diamonds and Luxury Pre-Owned Rolex Timepieces, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Robby Stanley.
Sometimes the overthinking that takes place, pretty mind-boggling.
Joe Rexrode.
Thought there was an issue. There's not an issue. There's no issue. They're doing wonderful.
Wake up and hang out with Robby and Rexrode every weekday morning from 6 to 10.
Taking care of business this early in the morning.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
I do not want to deprive people of a close-up of my face.
Watch live on YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope.
Progressive presents Forced Metaphors about bundling your home and auto.
When you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, you get great savings and round-the-clock protection, which is as beautiful as looking your firstborn child in the eyes for the first time. Well, that's a bit much. Maybe it's more like looking your second-born child in the eyes for like the third or fourth time. Point being, the savings and round-the-clock protection are really, really magical.
Forced Metaphors, presented by Progressive. Bundle and protect today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Matthias Ekholm. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Josiah, 2 days removed from how well you guys shot the ball against Longwood, just hard to stomach, just not being able to find the bottom of the net there toward the end?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, but we shot the shots that we practiced. I mean, today just for 40 minutes they didn't go in. Credit to Michigan, they played pretty good defense, but I feel like we just today just wasn't our day shooting the ball, but give a lot of credit to Michigan.
Tough loss for Tennessee over the weekend. They fall to Michigan in the round of 32. Another early exit from Rick Barnes and company in the tournament. Speaking of the tournament, did you get your brackets busted? Well, we have another chance for you to win some great prizes with the 16-team Game Bracket Challenge. Go to thegamenashville.com/bracket challenge to play for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Shinedown coming up at Bridgestone Arena on May the 4th. The Game Bracket Challenge brought to you by Coach's Corner Sports Grill in Spring Hill, Days Delta 8, and Wager. Joe, you were there live and in person for the game for Tennessee and their loss to Michigan on Saturday. That's a tough one for Vols fans to stomach. The narrative remains the same. Tennessee can't get it done come tournament time. People felt as good about this Tennessee team as they felt at least in the last 3 years. And here they are, out again in the round of 32. What do you think of that game, and what do you think of where this Tennessee program kind of sits now in the immediate aftermath of yet another disappointing loss come tourney time?
Well, it's a huge lost opportunity, and everyone has them, any program. I mean, Duke, Kentucky, Kansas, Kentucky this year. I mean, Kentucky and Tennessee, I think both could have won this tournament. Every program will look at certain years and say, oh, that team could have done it, and didn't. But all those other programs, you mentioned the better programs in college basketball, they also get there at times. They at least get deep. They get to the second weekend. They get to the third weekend. And this Tennessee team not getting it done is just devastating, I think, for Tennessee and its fans, and it should be. It's a lot different to me than last year when it was a team, yes, with 2 5-star one-and-done guys. So it was still like, God, all that talent, and you lost to Oregon State in the first round. But it was more like, what happened? They were really like inconsistent and not very good for a lot of the last couple months of the season. This team was excellent. This team was outstanding. This team won the SEC tournament for the first time since 1979 and was number 2 in the country in defensive efficiency. It was elite all year on that side of the ball, was moving into the upper 30s in offensive efficiency. And that's a formula. I mean, you like to be top 20 in both, but if you're number 2 in one and you're in the, pushing into top 30 territory in the other, that's, if you go by the numbers and teams that win it and get to the Final Four, that matches up. I mean, they had the goods to get there, and I think especially with the way Kennedy Chandler was starting to play, he was so good in that game. But Michigan decided to do a lot more zone late, and essentially abandon some of their shooters to protect the paint, and you miss all those shots. Whatever that means, the Vols, to me, made the right choices in this game from a coaching perspective and even from a players reacting to the game on the floor. They made the right choices. They actually made Michigan take tougher shots down the stretch than they took. I mean, basically, they mucked it up with Hunter Dickinson enough, and they did a really good job working hard to keep him from being deep and getting deep in the lane, that it came down to Eli Brooks coming off ball screens and having to hit mid-range jumpers, and he did. He hit those shots. And then he got hot, and then he hit that freaking hook shot over Josiah James that
he couldn't even see the rim on.
Yeah, I mean, he might, like, if you asked him to do that 10 times, he probably hits that twice, maybe once. But he hit it. And credit to him in Michigan. They made the plays. They made the shots. Tennessee came up small in the big moment. There's no other way to put it. And so now with the program, you asked me about the program. I mean, if Kennedy Chandler comes back next year, they're preseason number, I don't know, high.
Yeah.
Now, they're in the top 10 for sure, and they might be in the top 5 if they brought everyone back. I mean, Fulkerson's gone, but they'll be fine there. But they have to get. But when I say they'll be fine there, they have to get better there. But can Huntley Hatfield get a lot better? Can Adu get a lot better? Plavsic is going to be one of the stories of that game. If they would have won, he actually was pretty good, man.
Yeah.
But I think they're probably going to lose Chandler, and so they'll be a good team next year. But without that guy, that's why this was such an opportunity. Because unlike last year with Jaden Springer, Keon Johnson, guys who, trying to figure it out, I mean, he drives the whole thing, and he was taking over that game. And so I think there's a lot of Vols fans who probably – it just depends on your outlook. Some want Barnes out because it's like, well, how could you ever feel good about winning in March? And I understand that. That's a fair way to look at it. It is fair. Then you have Vols fans who are like, have you watched Tennessee basketball over your lifetime? Because this is arguably as good as it's been. I think both things are true, but it's just got to be tough because I think the Rick Barnes March thing now has become this elephant in the room or elephant on the court that they can't seem to overcome.
Well, and at least the conversation we're having today, I mean, Tennessee makes 2 more three-point shots in that game, and they probably win. I mean, Michigan made some free throws down the stretch. They make 2 more three-point shots in that game, they probably win. They shoot 4 of 18 from 3 rather than 2 of 18. They probably win that game. And we're sitting here talking about Tennessee and the Sweet 16 today, and could they take down Villanova? That's the conversation we're having today. And instead, I mean, they shoot horribly. They go through an offensive stretch where you blow a 6-point lead coming out of the stretch, and you can't hit any open shots. Is that on the coach that you couldn't hit your open shots? I mean, I would say no, it's not. But again, it goes back to the coach when this is the constant theme every single March is, all right, well, that's great. They've had a good regular season. They're in the tournament, and then they're out first, second round of the tournament. I mean, he hadn't been past the first week in the tournament since 2008. That's a big problem.
Yeah, one time.
Yeah, one time.
Yeah, in 19 they made the Sweet 16.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that's the only time since 2008 that Rick Barnes has been back past the first weekend, and so you can't look at that and say there's nothing to this. There's more to this than like bad luck or randomness. The tournament's random on a yearly basis, but if it's the same person that's happening to over and over again, then there's something that's not happening. There's something that's disconnecting. I mean, if you want to look at – I could look at the beginning of the game and say – Tennessee didn't come out and play well. I thought Tennessee defensively was not good early, and that helped Michigan build a lead. They eventually got it back from them, but you could look at that and say, okay, why weren't you more ready to play at that point? But when it was winning time, and even Tennessee, even after getting, they got outscored 22-8 down the stretch. But after getting the 6-point lead, winning time, again, the way coaches evaluate performances is what kind of shots did we get, what kind of shots did they get. Tennessee got better shots in that stretch, and they lost. Michigan made the huge shots. Tennessee missed time and time again. And I've gone back and forth with fans, some on, well, why are you just settling for threes? Well, I get that, but you have good shooters who have hit shots all year, and they're wide open. Michigan was completely leaving that corner open in that zone man hybrid thing they were doing. They were kind of switching to man sometimes later in possession, but they were leaving that corner open. I mean, you got to take that shot, and you got to love getting that shot. And if you can't make that shot, well, go home. I mean, like, this is a high level of basketball. And then also on the, should they have gone big? I think absolutely not. I think that was the right choice. If you go with two bigs, you take away a lot of your advantage offensively, and then it really doesn't help you that much defensively. I mean, Josiah James out there at the 4 guarding Eli Brooks and Terrence Williams. And by the way, Josiah James twice, these are perimeter players. So going big was not the answer. But what is the answer is box somebody out, because Terrence Williams got 2 straight times, did not get boxed out by Josiah James, and 2 straight times tied the game with putbacks. And Rick Barnes talked about that, I think, first thing in his post game. Box out. Winning plays, losing plays. Michigan made the winning plays. Tennessee just really came up short in the big moment. So it's ultimately on the players in this game. The big picture of why does this keep happening to Rick Barnes? Well, of course you have to look at Rick Barnes.
Let's go back to the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-125. Got a texter that says, Tennessee sports team should be on an episode of Hoarders. They hold on to garbage a lot longer than they should. Examples, Rick Barnes and Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, boy.
Jeez.
I will say that I did think, and I've got a mailbag this week at The Athletic, and someone asked a question also about those two together. I did think about them.
I thought you were going to talk about Hoarders.
No. I've never seen that, but it sounds like it could be a pretty gross show. Especially cat hoarders.
Yes.
But I did think about Rick Barnes and Ryan Tannehill together. If you are a Titans and Vols fan right now, who are you more mad at / I guess depressed that your team is continuing with that person?
Probably Tannehill.
I would agree. But at this very moment, right after that loss, the wounds are fresh. I understand a lot of Rick Barnes chatter, and it's tough because they were in position to make this run because of this team he built, and they weren't a fluky good team. They were a real good team. But here we are again.
We'll continue to take your thoughts on Rick Barnes and the Vols' early exit from the tournament on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. I've also got some tickets to give away coming up on the other side as well. By the way, Joe, this according to Adam Schefter, Titans free agent linebacker Rashaan Evans visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars tonight, per source.
All right.
Maybe the Jags for Rashaan Evans?
Payback on the Titans.
Rashaan
Years
Evans
to come.
versus Derrick Henry in the middle. I'm here for it.
Bama on Bama.
Bama on Bama crime. We'll be right back. Robby and Rexrode. You're on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 News Code Red meteorologist Dan Guthrie. Looking at increasing clouds today, we'll still see a fair amount of sunshine, and it'll be a warm day with a high temperature of 73 degrees this afternoon.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people. It takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with Care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution, and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Parman is now hiring and seeking qualified candidates for construction equipment truck drivers, service technicians, and more. Apply at parmantractor.com or call 615-865-7800. Come be an employee owner with the Parman team, your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer.
At Copper Branch, they live life to the fullest. Food is your energy and your life. Located in the heart of downtown Nashville, their goal is to serve you, your friends, and family quality, great-tasting, plant-based power foods. Visit Copper Branch at 601 Church Street for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with convenient and validated parking during library hours, and download their app for curbside pickup. Or come out for songwriter and live music nights several times throughout the week to empower, energize, and feel your best. Visit Copper Branch today.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
Our fleet vehicle program is a great benefit to all the fleet companies in Nashville. We are able to get their vehicle back on the road a lot quicker than the downtime of most dealers and most general repair shops, simply because we have the transmissions available. We're able to put priority on their vehicles to get them back on the road quickly.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
Want your biggest possible tax refund this year? Jackson Hewitt and Walmart have an offer you won't want to miss. Your Jackson Hewitt Tax Pro will prepare your federal return for as little as $59 and no more than $179. Taxes done where you shop. Your biggest federal refund guaranteed for no more than $179. Stop by Jackson Hewitt in any participating Walmart store today, because this offer won't last. Terms apply.
Sometimes their glass is half full.
That was unbelievable. It was the best NFL draft they've ever had.
Sometimes glass half empty.
What are we getting ourselves into here? Tough game.
And sometimes it's all about the numbers.
One win, and they've gone on this streak, and now they're at 500.
Hang out with Darren, Donick, and Chase from 10 to 2 during your workday. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Watch live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
This is Robby and Rexrode on ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Preds fans, join us for Smashville Live this Wednesday on 102.5 The Game. Smashville Live airs on Wednesdays during the Preds season from 6 to 7 p.m., featuring Preds players, former players, and other special guests. You can watch the show via 102.5 The Game's Twitch, Facebook page, YouTube, and Twitter. So be sure to join us for Smashville Live, brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka, Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, and Red Spirits and Wine in Bellevue. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Brought to you by Little Guys and Movers. Here's your chance to be your own boss. Join their team of 30-plus years of profits and good times. Visit littleguysfranchise.com. We've got some tickets to give away to see Shinedown coming up at Bridgestone Arena on May the 4th. Be caller number 3, 615-737-1025. Caller number 3, 615-737-1025. You'll win a pair of tickets to see Shinedown coming up on May the 4th. At Bridgestone Arena. I can't say May the 4th without thinking about Star Wars.
May it be with you.
Yeah. It's good stuff. We'll let Michelle answer the phone, then we'll get into our screaming match we just had a minute ago.
This is good. So how did this start? I came in the middle of this.
There's
John Calipari is a fraud.
Well, we got a texter. It says, coming from a Kentucky fan here, Barnes is about like Calipari. Great regular season coaches, but when it comes to March, they're horrible unless they have a team like the 2012 team that Cal didn't even need to coach to win the title.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas I commented back.
It's a little overstated.
And said 7 Elite Eights, 5 Final Fours, 1 national championship. You cannot say he is not successful in the postseason. And
to
the
which
whole
Robby said.
The whole 1 national championship, Calipari 1 national championship, Bill Self, Tom Izzo, Rick Pitino, Jim Boeheim. Like, it is very, very hard to win multiple national championships. And yes, he's had all these one-and-done players, amazing individual players, but look at all these veteran teams that win. Like, oh my gosh.
His job is to win a national title. That's what Kentucky's hired him to do. So if his approach is not working, winning national titles, maybe he needs to change his approach.
I don't know, Robbie. I think you're kind of overlooking some of the good coaching he's done in the NIT, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yes, thank you.
Michelle's on the phone and she can't respond. She's on the phone and can't look at. She wants so badly to just hang up on that caller and start screaming at us. Oh, she can't. Look at her. Oh, this is great. What else can we say about Calipari?
Well, look, I'm not even joking about this. Like, I recognize he's a good coach. Obviously,
he is. He is a better coach than a lot. Okay, so that texter, the whole didn't even have to coach that team. Actually, I would argue that when you have a team with, especially if you're heavily reliant on the freshmen, I think there's a lot of coaching that goes into getting them to play well. And yeah, hey, everybody would have loved Anthony Davis that year. Helps a lot, but you win a national title, you've done some good coaching. I mean, it's never been roll the ball out for him. Actually, I feel like the way he's gotten a lot of those teams to defend, to me, has been impressive and share the ball in a lot of things.
Yeah.
That said, you're not wrong.
I think he's a good coach. If you would have told a Kentucky fan in 2013 that, hey, by the way, you're not winning another national title with Cal as your head coach, they'd been irate.
Well, they wouldn't have believed you.
Exactly.
Right. So, I mean, I think both of you make good points because you're right. He hasn't had just the one run. I mean, the comparison to Rick Barnes is Rick Barnes has been to one Final Four in 2003.
Exactly. It's not a comparison.
So, and again, Rick Barnes as go through all the numbers. Some people compile like this underperforming, overperforming. I mean, he's right at the bottom. It's very bad. Calipari's not that.
Thank you.
Right. But I will say a decade. You're right. It's hard to win. You're right that it's hard to win too. But let's take Coach K with his 5 over a longer period of time. But the pay rate for Calipari, the program resources and all that stuff. You should have.
I will say this
another one.
But I will say this: the game has changed since in the time Cal has become the head coach at Kentucky versus the time that Coach K has been. Like with the one and done. And that becoming so prevalent in college basketball.
But he's largely responsible for that.
Well, exactly. He changed the game. But you can't say it's not harder to win with freshmen like that.
But again, if it's harder to win, his job is to win.
Well, honestly, that's why
so
to me
change your approach.
Well, he did. And he had this team this year that I thought was going to win it with a different approach.
Not a lot of tournament experience, though.
And the Peacock said,
"Well, the
Peacock, don't even. I want them to win so badly
Doug
now.
Edert
the
and
Peacocks
his
may
sweet
win
mustache.
the national title, man.
Listen, if they win, I will be the happiest person ever.
They're
and now that the
flowing
Vols
through.
lost, I don't even have to hear it anymore. No text to me coming about Kentucky. Everybody's talking about Tennessee losing.
That is true.
Yeah, it would have actually been like if Murray State just bombed St. Peter's, which is actually what I thought was going to happen. I'm like, okay, look at these dudes. Come on. I can go out and score 8 for these guys. Come on.
I would simmer down with that, Joe.
Well,
that's the second time you've said it.
Joe's got a good shot.
And then I was wrong. And I'm looking at Murray State. I'm like, this team's so much better than them. I was like, I'm sitting there next to Cal Tucker. I'm like, God, Murray State, Kentucky would have been awesome tonight. How great would this have been? KJ Williams against Sheboy. And then the YMCA squad that, it's just incredible.
They beat Purdue. Our whole show will
chance.
go. Joe.
Elijah, 0 chance, right? There's no way they beat Purdue.
You say
just
there was 0 chance?
1%.
You said there was 0 chance they would beat Kentucky.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's crazy. It is crazy. But on the Calipari discussion, he did change his approach because it is hard to win with the nuns. But let's remember, the one young team that won with just like youth was Duke in 2015 when Kentucky should have won the freaking title that year.
Justice Winslow.
Yeah.
Thought he was going to be a star for my Miami Heat. That did not work out.
Yeah.
Did not work out at all.
Hey, but you know who was a star for your Miami Heat? Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Greatest day in program history when all those guys went in the draft.
Yeah.
Okay, Cal.
Yeah.
I mean, we can nitpick Cal a little bit if we want.
You guys just, my goodness.
Well,
I mean, what a dumb thing to say. Greatest day in program history. All these guys go in the first round. Really? I think Kentucky fans like when you win games.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Call me crazy.
Well, that's why we're having this discussion, because Kentucky fans right now are mad. And they're like, all right, dude, cool, man. I'm glad you get all this talent. Like, are you going to win again? Like, is that going to happen at any point? So I'm just throwing it out there. Like, I think with Kentucky fans, the perception of him has changed pretty dramatically the last couple of years.
So you have as a Kentucky alum, you have no qualms with Cal.
No, I will say, ever since Kenny, I can't believe I'm saying this right now, but ever since Kenny Payne left the Kentucky program, that team has not won a game in March. And now he's going to Louisville.
Now he's the rival.
Yeah, buddy.
And I have a feeling, amazing move by Louisville. He was such a big part of that Kentucky program, and there was a lot of talk within, just from people I know in the Kentucky basketball program, when he left. That was a big change. And I think it has still an effect on Kentucky.
I'll tell you a quick story from this weekend. So Kyle is right behind the Kentucky bench, and he's getting all this stuff. Like, I tell you, like, Cal's like wiping he wrote something about this. He's wiping his face. So he gave him this look like, I don't know. Like, he just looked at press row and just saw Kyle, who he knows. He's just like, But I'm across from the bench, and I started watching this closely because I noticed it early. Those three assistant coaches, this is what they were doing the whole game.
Just looking around, nothing.
I was like, dude, do any of you say or do anything? What do you do here? Cal's up freaking out on everything. Those guys are like, I swear. I just kept watching them. I'm like, what do you get paid? You did nothing in this game. Hey, it's like with Barnes, you lose Michael Schwartz. That can be a big problem.
Yeah.
When you're
No, I completely agree with that, Joe.
Yeah. So fire Cal. All right, we decided.
No.
Come back around.
Get assistants who can stand up to him.
Fire Cal. Kentucky head coach Rick Barnes. Make Tennessee fans and Kentucky fans happy.
Or could Cal be Barnes' associate head coach? That could actually make the difference.
Listen, Barnes regular season, because everybody wants to say he's got a better record over Cal.
Well,
regular season,
he
does.
Say it's a fact.
Okay, but hey, listen, 0 national championships, no Final Fours. Listen,
gotta keep going.
But hey, then you switch over. Barnes take a step back in March. Cal take a step up. Could be a dynamic duo.
That's true. You just flip flop. Barnes becomes the associate head coach in the post. Okay, I can see that.
So Cal can coach him into the round of 32 and get put out.
If that team gets to the NIT,
well, you better watch out.
Katie bar the door.
Let's go to the text line very quickly. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com 615-737-1025. I got a texter that says the Vols' disappointment feels how Titans fans' disappointment was. So going on the same level. You imagine being the Vols basketball Tennessee Titans fan combo.
No,
been a rough couple of months.
It's a little. It's hard to compare these two postseasons because there's still so much more. But the Vols were going to be in a really good game with Villanova and have a really good chance to win that game.
Yep.
And have a really good chance to win 2 games with San Antonio this week and be in New Orleans. And the Titans were going to be 1 home win away from the Super Bowl. So, no, both of them had precious, rare, difficult-to-attain opportunities, and both of them absolutely blew it. A good note to end the show on.
Yeah, very quickly.
Have a great Monday, everybody.
Gator Tim texting in. Michelle, Crya Perry has more talent than everyone in the country every year. He's the most underachieving coach in NCAA history. This comes from Gator Tim on the text line.
Crya Perry.
I like it. Most underachieving.
Just because you have the most talent does not mean you're going to win the national championship.
Most underachieving. You think you get a couple, though.
Crya Perry me a river.
I like
That's
that one.
Fantastic.
Hey, Gator Tim, go. Where's your head coach?
Better nickname.
Football and basketball.
Crya Perry or Bobby Trees. I'm going Bobby Trees. Slide edge.
Bobby Trees is pretty good.
Bobby Trees.
I can't believe I didn't know that before today. That's strong.
That's going to do it for us today here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll be back 6 a.m. tomorrow. Darren Donica Chase up next. This is ESPN 102.5 The Game.
The voice of reason.
If I'm the official, I would send both teams to the locker room and say, this is going to stop.
The voice of the fan.
Our entire team's a mash